I was going to say this before we started talking about all gamers, obviously, is we have a show to run. I had a bit of banter between both Forrest and JJ. And if you remember all the way back from the Atlanta Major, a little-known professional commentator known as Casting Links had their head shaved because of Forrest making a miracle run with SSG in the top 8 for playoffs. Now, I've made somewhat of a similar decision today after breakfast and maybe some peer pressure that's turned into a bad decision. If Five Fears make that miracle run, and for the first time as this team making it to a main stage, if they go to playoffs, I'm going to lose my hair as well. But they still have to win today in a best of 3 against all gamers and win against whomever they will be playing tomorrow for another BO3. So my hair might be saved, but if not, at least I would be losing it for a good cause, for maybe NA's last hope, depending on how the rest of the matches go today as well. Because I don't think we have any North American teams that have qualified yet for the Phase 3 stage yet, have we? I don't think so.
No, because Wildcard lost yesterday to FaZe.
Unless Shopify, like,
only 2-0 team. Oh no, Shopify.
Did they just qualify against Enterprise?
Shopify did 2-0 Enterprise. So we do have one NA representative. Of course, Wildcard and DZ also 2-1, but they also play against each other. So we will have another NA representative at 3-1, just because of that. Lair, of course, again, we mentioned it's a pretty good map for both teams. Five Fears won it against 1-30 on kickoff. They lost it in overtime to VP after being up 6-5, and then kind of got their revenge on it against CAG, winning here. And All Gamers played it 4 times in kickoff. They won all 4 times. They did lose it, though, here. They lost it to, I believe it was Wavo.
Sell them out!
Five Fears, we've also casted them on this map previously, having some struggles with dealing against those power positions, especially with the help of Inazami and her Kiba barriers. Now we already have Five Fears opening up the operation wall, kind of cutting mezzanine and making it safer to start challenging Moonlight off of this bandit right by the site wall. They do have Snake on Deimos. He could go downstairs to maybe Deathmart track him, deny that bandit trick, break some batteries, and potentially allow this wall to be opened up. But with the addition of Tubarao, it might take a long while to fully set that up without killing Moonlight directly.
Yeah, I think you're just going to have to kill the bandit. Like, it's going to be hard to dislodge him and then not allow him back into mass.
Right.
Five Fears, they don't have... I mean, really the only guy who's going to be able to do that, though, is the Deimos of Snake, if he's able to set up below and get the track. Obviously, we don't really know yet if he's got that information on him, but it's going to be a main stairs play here from JJ Blastful on the Blitz. Fens jumps into bathroom. The Blitz forced to back off. Thanks to the smoke canister, it deals a ton of damage to JJ. Trying to climb back up. He's got a drone in front of him. Sees the hallway clear, at least for now, and he's going to be relying a lot on Fens to hold this position.
Just playing in bathroom, keeping a safe area for Five Fears to now push up into Mez and maybe try to use that last grenade on the striker to get rid of this bandit. Instead, Snake will finally go down below and at least remove one of those batteries. It seems like Moonlight will try to rotate over, deploying that battery, but it's not in the nick of time as Snake will catch him by surprise. And through the cross, he somehow lives. Tons of damage dealt to Moonlight, but it's still a 5 versus 5. The wall's finally opened up now, however, for Five Fears, and Capitao even rotates outside. So now you still have to worry about the opposing angle from this double wall and all of Force's utility, which is just one fireball, but that could be used to deal with the desk position that Five Fears also have struggled with dealing with in the past. And yep, that's exactly what they use it for. Perfect use of utility by Five Fears.
JJ almost killing the Azami as she falls back, but he jumps right onto the waiting arms of Moonlight. JJ dead, so is Fens. And just like that, the Master Office push has basically been shut down completely by All Gamers. Moonlight, another kill onto Rival. The Bandit ratting close to the doorway, getting 2 kills for All Gamers. There's no way for Five Fears to get in. There was a triple stack on the doorway that Snake tried to push. And the Chinese end up with round number 1.
All Gamers, a fantastic anchor. They fell off of what little extensions they had over by the lobby staircase. They did take a ton of HP off of JJ, so when he was tasked to be that space maker to allow for Force to plant, he was unsuccessful. He died immediately to Moonlight when he hopped over that couch. Would he have died as easily if he was on full health? Probably. That was a bit of a risky choice by JJ to make, but still made it a hell of a lot easier since he was already one shot. You win the first entry, you get forced off that plant, and the one thing we highlighted for 5 Fears' attack is that they live and die for the plant. So them being unsuccessful at attempt or securing a post-plant position, they're forced to just play for gunfights at a 5 versus 3 where all gamers have one half of the objective still hold as just an area to play for crossfires and play for each other's contact. 5 Fears cannot clear that out because they've lost all their utility. Just getting into operation and then setting up for a plant. We now go down into the basement after all gamers successful defense upstairs, and they're already bringing out the Clash and Echo, two of the most annoying operators to deal with for a basement clear.
Yeah, I wonder if maybe 5 Fears just didn't need to try and push their blitz that deep into site. I mean, we talked about the all gamers MO where they're not really going to extend out at you. They let you set up and try to rely on their strong anchor game to win them rounds. In that case, it was 5 Fears, just no information on that bomb site. Hopefully not going to be an issue heading into this basement defense where they've got the Ram, they've got the Snake. They're probably going to be going for this full map clear. Clash does get a little bit weaker on this bomb site when you have the Ram destroying the floor fully above A and making space for like a filter plant, which I imagine is going to be the eventual goal of 5 Fears. Of course, again, like you mentioned, you have that Echo to fall back on. You have that smoke to fall back on should 5 Fears take too long.
I like Fens here on the Snake, or yeah, I said it correctly. I thought I got it wrong. Wow, rare fellow correct call as a commentator. Could be helpful for a lurk. We tend to see 5 Fears prioritize the vert less when attacking basement for layer, and instead, you know, pushing through stock, getting missile control, basically sandwiching the anchor. And if there's vert applied with boogie drones, they also have a cutoff from above too. So you're kind of forced with your hands tied to go for some sort of gunfight. Here's the Blitz rushing down through the warehouse side of the map. Some damage dealt between the Jaeger and Blitz, but no kill confirmed once again at that minute 30 mark. As we say that, there's some vert going upstairs down from Rival, as a majority, again, of this composition by all gamers is set and focused on an anchor off the Clash and Echo. So again, that final minute marker, you're going to have to worry about some of these cutoff angles by these boogie drones, and maybe they'll just try to hunt down the Clash as early as possible, but no, it'll still be that entry by JJ onto Yaz, but it's an instant trade here for all gamers.
Of course, though, he's not the man with the case. It's Forrest, and he's trying to get it down in lab, but he's getting stunned off by the Yokai drone. It's going to be a lot on Fence to try and cover this, but the C4 from Moonlight will take down the Blitz and drop the case inside the bomb site. Snake kills the Clash. He's good for 2 kills inside stock, going for a back hit. It succeeds in giving 5 Fears the man advantage. And now Railgun has to be gun up. He has to try and support his teammate of solo mid. Plant now going down once again. Railgun back on the Yokais. Stun, though, not going to be successful. He doesn't get the proper angle on the ceiling, and it allows Fens to get the case down, and immediately 5 Fears back off because they know they can just simply play the verticality, leaving Fens downstairs just so they have some extra coverage. He finds solo mid through the ace breach and lockers, and now Railgun, the man who was unable to deny the plant, left alone, and he fails the clutch. 5 Fears tie the score.
And a recovery by 5 Fears in round number 2 off the backstab we highlighted during the prep phase, Harrison. It's something that they love to do, specifically for Snake, being one of their best fraggers and most consistent players mechanically, finding a gap somewhere by himself across the map and catching people by surprise. Everybody has focused their attention on the vert. Everybody's focused on JJ, who tried rushing his way into sight and only went 1 for 1 during that round. So they completely forget about the back of stock. That's where Snake walks in. He makes a ton of space off that 2K, and unfortunately for Railgun, like you mentioned, he had to play gun up a majority of that round after his teammates died because he didn't want to leave the smoke alone, but that didn't give him as much time to set up his Yokai correctly to stop Fens planting the diffuser, giving 5 Fears enough time to stick it. Now you got a 3v1 with Vert and the ability just to walk back outside in a man advantage, giving 5 Fears a great endgame position. And again, they live and die off the plant. They spot a gap to take an opportunity, and now they've tied up the scoreline 1-1.
Now it's going to be Bunk's briefing for all gamers, setting up upstairs, but curiously, no Solus or Warden. they have neither of the power position players who are meant to stay upstairs and stop that plant. Instead, they're going to have the smoke upstairs, obviously, because he can send those gas canisters down into the site to stop a plant by the doorway or the breach, or he can halt a clear upstairs. He's got Railgun and Yaz to help him out, too. Railgun, of course, has a Pocket Thorn. He can send that down towards the planter, too. It's just odd not seeing either of, like, the primary you can't smoke plant operators here for the top floor hold.
Meanwhile, Five Fears, yes, they don't have a Ying or Capitao, any of those stable operators or staple operators to assist to make space for a plant. They do still have Deimos and Dokkaebi, tons of information there. JJ on Blackbeard can be a major threat for the upstairs extension, even dealing some damage early onto Railgun. Could probably throw that grenade if there's no ADS close by to the shield to destroy it early. But JJ will wait to gather more info beforehand. I love the use of the Selma charges as well, guaranteeing that no one can retake Office, and that display will now be challenging to recapture as well because it's a cutoff from the second Selma charge. So Five Fears at about the minute mark have gathered a lot of space off this utility, and Rival, through his own Selma charge, shuts down solo mid. Those are your toxic babes gone.
Yeah, that's like the one guy who was supposed to do the job of the Solus or the Warden and deny that plant. JJ taking a little bit of damage from Railgun's traps. Minute 30 left is now the Azami tracked by the Deimos offense, who's sitting outside that display window, teaming with JJ here. The position of that Azami being constantly called out to the Blackbeard player. Looking for a way inside this doorway. Maybe waiting for Rival to support on the other side. The nade from Fens can certainly clear out the position close, and in comes Rival just barreling his way into server. Down goes the Thorn, down goes MC upstairs too, and Five Fierce clear has some teeth. A minute left, they've got a 5-2 advantage, and they've still got these last two defenders isolated up here. Moonlight good for one. JJ, though, stuck between two players. At least he's refragged. Yaz is going crazy, but Rival gets a third kill, and Five Fierce take the lead.
And the sync of the Dokkaebi call, the Deathmark Trek, and the Blackbeard shield, all my, or oh my for all gamers, as they just get barreled down by Five Fears on the frontal assault upstairs. Complete textbook by them, you know, that they get their early round information. They notice that no one's roaming from operation. They spot that there's one shield to stop anyone from getting into Office. Once it's been destroyed, you get the Selma charges in from Rival. Lack of wall denial upstairs with a Bandit. Now he's been banned too, so I imagine it'll be just as easy for the Rain Breach to be successful if they see the exact same extension we did in round number 3. You have those Selma charges go off, you work an entry from those angles, and then just start slowly pushing the Blackbeard in off the late round info, off the Logi bombs, off the Deathmark trackers, off the frag grenades that are also making space for Blackbeard. Perfect team play. Off the utility, off of your guns. You've got the round advantage now on layer attack, forcing an early timeout by all gamers, which I think is the right move to play here. You typically want, you know, a 3-3 or a 4-2 split on your layer defense, and Five Fears, you know, despite their hiccups on round number 1, you know, really struggling to secure a post-plant position on Office, they looked incredible both on their lab recovery and their entire clear of the bunk roam.
Yeah, and again, it's all gamers just kind of sitting in storage and our 6 room and waiting for Five Fears to come to them. But as we've mentioned, if you let this team set up and let them do what they want to do, you're going to be in a world of hurt. Same thing goes for Shopify. Same thing goes for Weibo. The reason why all gamers that worked against Furia is because Furia were playing so individualistic. All they had to really do was just wait for the members of Furia to walk at them, and they could kill them one by one. That's not going to work against these coordinated, execute-heavy teams. Now they find themselves back on the top floor. They're not bringing the Bandit anymore because, of course, he was just banned by Five Fears, so they're going to have much easier access to that mask plant spot. I think maybe because of that, too, they're not going to necessarily feel the need to go deep into Master because they're going to get that open so early.
Bandit not only would have been a struggle on bunks with dealing, or I guess with counteracting Rival's hard breach, but it was a problem in round 1. It took over 2 minutes for 5 Fears to get Snake downstairs after assisting JJ running up main stairs, after gathering info on other operators off the bomb site, to then just getting the bandit from, you know, from a safe distance just off the wall, not even killing him outright. So instead of, you know, trying to waste more time doing the exact same thing, they just decide, you know what, screw it, let's ban Bandit. If they have a mute jammer on the wall, I can just shoot that easily through the floor and they can't trick it. So now they'll get the site wall opened up a lot faster with Ace still being in play and a Thermite brought into the mix too, meaning they have another avenue just to run into site. Maybe they'll leave this double wall reinforced off for the plant to go down and open it up later to have basically a sandwich of angles or a crossfire covering this diffuser. But again, you know, that's if they get the plant down. There's still an Azami by Master Desk. There's still a Tachanka with a lineup for his Shimikas to land on the default plant position. And there's still a Nitro Cell with Toxic Babes for both SAS operators of Solo Mid and Macy.
And JJ off the flashbang from Yaz just swings in and kills the guy Desk and then leaves. What an absurd play from the two hard breachers. Fens, though, very quickly falls to Moonlight. Playing outside by Skybridge, I think catching a lurk. Snake looking to follow up, but Moonlight backs up and now tag teaming with Railgun by Storage. JJ now setting up for the execute, knowing that that Desk player is gone. Smoke grenade goes out, but there's Tachanka fires to answer. And with JJ, such low HP, he cannot risk planting through it and tanking the damage. Forrest, his job downstairs, likely going to be to dislodge or distract this Tachanka enough for JJ to get the plant down. Nade goes up through the floor. I don't know if maybe that was meant to break the shield, but Snake gets a kill on the Moonlight. JJ, your main diffuse planter does fall to MC. Now it's stuck outside the breach. Rival trying to work his way in now. He's got to cross through Mass to pick up that case. But no one from All Gamers so far watching this angle. Actually, it's Forrest who's since rotated up, so Rival can just sit here and cover. Railgun only with 8 Shumika launcher shots left. Rival going to try and push deep, maybe try and catch the Tachanka with the launcher in hand as Forrest baits for the plant. Here's the attempt. Shumika launcher now out. Rival looking for the opportunity to get the kill, but it's too late, actually. Forrest is able to stick the diffuser through, but just as it happens, All Gamers explodes for 3 kills.
And All Gamers keeping their composure and playing for the win condition again of stopping the plant. I also like how they didn't completely tunnel vision on just stopping the execute towards Office. They still were watching out for a potential lurk. That dealt with Snake very effectively. They did acknowledge that Forrest was downstairs, so they avoided a lot of the vert off of his shotgun and revolver pistol, while also taking to the fact that they do have a man advantage for dealing in that execute. So just good job keeping those Shumika launchers alive and kicking throughout the round. That forced JJ to die really early. If not the Shumika launchers, then the toxic canisters by Solo Mid. And the Shumika fire killing Forrest, funnily enough, after his two teammates died trying to make space for him to secure a post plant. So 5 Fears continue to be unsuccessful on Office in the R6 room. However, they had a great recovery on this basement floor bomb site. So might still have a chance of bringing back that lead in their favor, but again, I gotta commend All Gamers and the amount of utility they are bringing to stop 5 Fears' win condition of the plants.
Yeah, I think because they've identified that 5 Fears are going for that mask plant, you don't need to necessarily disrupt and execute for that, because you can just stack utility upon utility and force them to either have to wait it out and attack with 10 seconds left, push in deep, and you can just wait for them, or both, and that's exactly what happened with All Gamers. However, it's these two other sites that playstyle tends to be a problem with. This time, though, All Gamers do have a setup on the first floor. Solo Mid, Moonlight, Yaz, and MC all currently above the bomb site, so it is quite a large extension. Not something that we're necessarily used to seeing from All Gamers, though when they do extend, they typically fall back rather quickly. But the amount of utility they have dedicated to it makes me think that this is going to be a slightly different look.
All Gamers also realizing, you know, 5 Fears, even if they go for a more horizontal clear, they still emphasize bringing a ram to establish vert. Even if the ram doesn't necessarily get any kills upstairs, those angles provide tons of pressure and limit the rotations for any defender close to sight on the basement. So now forcing Five Fears to actually take their time, breaking open these reinforced walls, using flashes and grenades to push back the roam. It's going to buy more time in the late round for all gamers. It's going to take off some resources from Five Fears as well. The flash is successful, but so is the hatch drop for Moonlight, if not Yaz there. So everyone has fallen back to the basement, excluding Solo Mid, who's just kind of chilling out by blue stairs. He can deny a lurk for a very long period of time, either with his shotgun or the Toxic Babes. He's still handling, and, you know, not a big deal because he still have all those yokais to stop a plant if need be. And I think JJ might be forced to try to challenge this smoke by himself. This could be a very risky fight, Harrison.
Especially with the smoke lower on the staircase, one blast to the feet could bring JJ down. But again, like we said, all gamers really only spending about a minute on that upstairs extension before falling back. Though now, again, like you said, that blue stairs hold is posing a problem for Five Fears. There's only about a minute left as the Ram of Forest starts to go to work on this floor. Not quite sure where Five Fears are going to end up executing here, but Snake gets the kill onto MC. And that'll open the round for Five Fears. JJ trying to find an opening here in Storage 2, duoing with Snake on the Snake. Moonlight evens the odds with the kill on the Rival. Snake looking to pick up some utility from that dead Azami in Storage. Forest needs to be able to cover upstairs here through the vert. Maybe even looking to lurk down into Warehouse here. JJ getting harassed by the yokai drones right now, and he knows that there is no opportunity to plant right now. They need an advantage against all gamers, especially with this even man count, and the yokai's still up. Yaz holding this rotation that we're seeing from Forest. No information. He almost dies to it. Is just going to keep on pushing despite the Jaeger about to bear down on him.
Prone.
And oh my goodness, Yaz gets baited. And that gives enough room for JJ to now plant on that side of the map. Snake another kill. Moonlight's dead. And Five Fears have an absolutely absurd rotation to win the round.
And Forrest, living on that lurk, denies the flank from Yaz, and Snake shooting the yokai, securing the plant, and winning a fight with the F2. Again, sealing the deal on that basement execute. Five Fears not just tunnel visioning themselves and trying to funnel through one specific doorway against all this information that the yokais have provided, right? They concussed Blitz several times. They knew that the initial push was over from stock, but then a rotate happens. Five Fears spot a gap in one of the two bomb sites and just getting that man advantage and being able to stop the yokais from shutting down that plant was enough to seal the deal. They'll take back the lead, and it won't be a reattempt of Lab by all gamers. They're going to go to bunks where, again, it was a near flawless round from Five Fears. They opened up the main breaches by office and display. They worked 2, if not 3 picks in about a minute to minute 30 mark and just used the rest of their info ops to completely rush themselves through the deeper parts of that extension by R6 room, winning the round. I think with still 4 bodies up and alive. And their lineup, not too different. Again, it doesn't really scream to me that they want to focus a post plant necessarily, but it could happen. They have a lot of hard breach, so they could open up both some walls upstairs to push back the extension from all gamers, and also open up the main wall leading directly into sight from the outside. There's also no Solus or Warden in play by all gamers. So I'm wondering if, you know, Five Fears wanted to go for a direct plant off those smoke grenades by Thermite. Like, what would the response from all gamers be exactly?
I don't know. Forrest is already right next to the bomb site, because in playing the Clash, I like the idea.
He's going security. Interesting.
To hold the upstairs, to assist the upstairs hold. But again, if she's not, if she's not on site, and again, you have no Solus or Warden, the plant could be free from Five Fears. You've also got JJ on the Nomad to help try and counter this Clash. He's dropped Case in Master, though. Sees the barricade from the Clash. Railgun, I think, hears JJ trying to run up on him and very quickly abandons barricading that doorway. Fens has picked up the Case, and he's also assisting with this Master office clear. So despite the early breaches, they're still focused on this top floor hold.
New feed active.
Solomid is at least playing directly in sight. No Nitro Cell, however. Impact grenades could be used to at least disorient someone, possibly deal a little bit of chip damage, or just help create vert for your teammates upstairs. I'm not entirely sure. Five Fears have definitely gone for a slower approach, but you know, sacrificing the clock a little bit here. They have gained tons of map control, limiting all gamers to just the display area of the top floor for the most part. Moonlight at least having information about someone near Skybridge. That'll be Fens on the Snake. Clash now dropping downstairs, maybe to assist for denying the execute, giving this 1-for-1. Damage dealt between Fens and Moonlight, but the Snake wins it. And now it's info that this last person upstairs is isolated.
The Jaeger going for the swing. The trade does work out. Nade not going to find the refrag on himself. 4 versus 4. Dokkaebi calls out. Smokes out in the bomb site. Force the kill onto the Clash. And that was one of your main sources of preventing this execute from 5 Fears. Now she's gone. Solo mid in the midst of the smoke. Ends up getting killed, I think, by one of the players upstairs. Rival finishing off MC2 leaves Yaz alone in a 1 versus 4. The plant is going down. Solo mid is calling it out, but it does not matter. 5 Fears take the site and the top floor at the same time and have a 4-2 attacking half.
Alright guys, as usual, guys take some time to breathe, okay? Calm down a bit. Let's go. Breathe, breathe. Alright, so for the defense, guys, it's pretty simple, okay? For CEO and basement, they're gonna have, like, we need to check for Solis. If there is a Solis or a Vigil, he's gonna be on a free roam, okay? Looking for aggression, looking for like run out, or like flanks.
一下的时候，我们看一下有没有男鬼跟 Solis 有男鬼 Solis，然后他们就会这个打野跟跑睡偷头，小心一点。
For CEO, they can like defend ups with Azami, like mute, and that Solis protecting them from below. So if that's the case, we can just do like a storage and like a.
So honestly, like, what should I play, bro? Should I play Mira? Should I play?
No. So here's what I think we do here, bro. I think the first round, you guys have freedom to press the limits like default.
For you, you sound like shit.
Just the only thing we need to worry about, bro, is like I'm telling you, like they're just gonna like the guy, like Moonlight's just gonna run up the stairs like a fucking dumbass with the shotgun. That's all he fucking does. That's their only push. And remember, wherever the Monty is, or the BB is, or the Blitz is where the 4-man push is. Just press it. Their default op stake is 3 guys ops, 1 on bathroom balk, 1 rocket stairs. Okay, they're one-dimensional. Just fucking press them.
We want to play
and don't fall.
here.
Again, guys, listen. When we say press, we mean don't let them in the map. When we say blitz, we mean fucking cheese the shit out of them. Okay?
Honestly, guys, I'm gonna play
Just
the warden.
press.
I'm gonna play the warden shoddy in bathroom and make the bathroom rotate and fight this shit hard. Okay?
Yo, mute Jam or mute because he's gonna run Deimos. Gonna be
Yeah,
good.
I would.
Yeah, Box Ying Glass is gonna be banned. Just play the mute.
I know. Okay, well, it's for flashbangs and stuff too.
Yeah,
that's
nah, that's
fine.
Riley,
So,
make them work to get you out of ops. Okay, make them fucking work for it, bro.
I want.
All right, it looks like 5 Fears have a pretty good read on the All Gamers game plan. Couldn't really understand All Gamers. I unfortunately do not speak Chinese, even though I probably should, but I don't. I do like that the first thing that the All Gamers coach said was, all right, guys, take some time to breathe. And then it was silent for like 20 seconds. I think that's a really underrated aspect of this game. If you want to be successful at Siege, you need to have a clear and calm mind. So you have All Gamers able to bring it back now on the attack of Lair. Now remember, what was also interesting too is that this is All Gamers. This is All Gamers map pick. So 5 Fears chose to start attack here.
I think that just goes to display how comfortable 5 Fears are with attacking. It just suits their playstyle very well. Again, incredibly aggressive team. 5 Fears love the cheese. They love shields. Every round it felt like they were trying to establish a plant, except maybe around number 3 because their roam clear was so precise, so consistent. So 4-2 on your preferred half is great. You mentioned kind of the mental reset of just catching your breath for a couple of seconds. I think that'll be very helpful going into this new half of Lair. Could be a brand new sight to see for All Gamers. Got 5 Fears now on the defense, as we had mentioned. Their lineup not looking too different from what All Gamers have been bringing, except I guess the addition of Thorn. We didn't see Thorn really at all, I think, from All Gamers. Maybe like once,
Yeah, we
if
saw
at
her
all.
once on round 3. She was part of the roam, so she
Yeah.
got smoked.
Glad I could remember that. We are going to the top floor. This first site pick, not too shocking. Railgun also starting out here from Skybridge, getting some early information that, hey, not a lot of utility here. If we get a drone down this hallway, maybe we can figure out, is there a smoke by that small little R6 room? Can we maybe punish him if we bring someone over with grenades or flashes to force him to fall back early? That is the case for JJ. It's storage, not little R6 room. I don't think that's a compass call. But yeah, good map control already established here by all gamers. But again, since it's smoke playing here by storage, he can burn a lot of time with these toxic babes and give info to his teammates that a rotate might be necessary.
And he's already burning some of those toxic babes. First one from JJ goes out. Railgun and Moonlight both trying to take over towards storage here. I imagine eventually Moonlight's going to rotate over towards Mask. I think he's actually already opened part of Mask. Right now, 5 Fears just having a stare down with the Monty of all gamers. Not sure where the rest of the attack is right now, though, because there's... Okay, Buck has gone in below. So MC now in Medic. He's probably going to be tasked with clearing spots, power spots, such as behind the desk where the Azami likes to play.
Wow.
And before we can even get to that, Forrest destroys him. But off of that kill, in comes the rush from All Gamers and Skybridge. Moonlight, good for 2. Railgun, another. Forrest trying to go for a Hail Mary C4. It does not land. Snake also with a C4 in his pocket. But do they have the information? Up it goes, and it doesn't land. 0 for 2 with the C4s from 5 Fears. Moonlight holding the rotation by Skybridge. Solo mid even through the verticality established by the C4 kills Forrest. And it is a fast push storage from all gamers to get them on the board first round on the attack.
I love all gamers as well, doubling down on clearing out JJ from storage, right? He took 1 extra second to throw that last toxic babe, giving the Montaigne time to get him batched down and allow his teammate to also finish him off, I believe. If not, it was either Moonlight or the shield player killing him, and then an immediate kill followed afterwards for all gamers. They've got a 2-player advantage. Both the Mute and Valkyrie are still off of site, making that plant very easy to set up for. Was it Railgun killing him there? It was, and then Moonlight shut down the refrag from being an opportunity there by all gamers. Even watching the flank towards the end, once the plant had gone down. That was a crucial round for all gamers after the halftime phase. It'll be a reattempt immediately by 5 Fears on the upstairs floor of office in our 6th room with a near identical lineup. Besides now, Snake is off the Valkyrie and on Ella. So maybe just trying to punish out these shields potentially for all gamers. But unlike the last round, Harrison, wait 2 seconds. All gamers are not bringing a shield.
They're not. They have the Buck once again, who's likely going to be going downstairs, but they're leaning more into information with the Lion and the Deimos as well. Deimos maybe also going below and helping protect Macy after Forrest slammed him from almost across the map. I do like all gamers also bringing this Thatcher. If they do want to just go Mask and go direct, seeing that really the only thing 5 Fears have to deny this plant, unless Fens and Snake are going to get into position to deny, are the smoke canisters, which they can EMP out of the midair.
It is very rare to see Thatcher nowadays, especially because most maps, you tend to see a Bandit Cade off the board for those first 2 defender bans. So having Thatcher now used to enable a plant is always something I enjoy seeing. Rival spotting at least someone directly outside of operation. It is that Thatcher, funnily enough, I believe. He's got his EMP out for just a moment there. Nade toss behind the Kibas, and it will injure Rival. Early pick granted by Solo mid off of great use of utility there and just cutting off the Azami from falling back. Basically a dead man walking, stuck behind the Kibas. Man advantage already established now for all gamers. They've got operation control as well, and they still have the opportunity to go downstairs and either hunt any remnants of a roam, which there currently isn't for 5 Fears, or just get Vert on the side players, making space for another potential plant.
Yeah, wonderful nade toss there to flush out Rival. There was really nowhere he could go. Railgun now going to open that Mask wall with the Thermite, so that'll force JJ back, so he can play close with the shotgun. No secondary hard breach or secondary hard breacher means that if they want to open the other Mask wall, Railgun will be rotating all the way around. For now, though, Moonlight just continues to storm his way into Ops. Again, JJ, his gas canisters can be denied by this Thermite, or by this Thatcher. If Moonlight is alone, though, maybe 5 Fears can take advantage of him having his launcher out. Forrest playing by the hallway, making sure that no one's going to be able to work their way up to the doorway to help kill JJ while he's attempting to deny that plant. Yaz downstairs, starting to get some tracks. Here's the first smoke canister and smoke attempt from All Gamers. Railgun getting this plant down. MC with the kill on the Fens, and the smoke canister completely missed from JJ. So Railgun gets it down basically for free. There's a 2-man lead now for All Gamers. And now Forrest is dead. Snake can't make headway up the hallway. JJ finds himself all alone as All Gamers have hit these gaps perfectly, spotting the only place that 5 Fears could not deny, getting the kills as 5 Fears scramble to deny this plant, and they're going to tie the score as soon as they track down JJ, who's running outside.
Flawlessly done for All Gamers. They just had the right tools for the job, you know. They spotted the Azami. No ADSs to help her Kiba, so they just spam nades at her. That's the first entry pick. You've got operation control. You can keep the Thatcher there on a cutoff to stop anyone from fighting back when the plant is attempted. No wall denial because Bandit and Cade banned, so Thermite uses exothermic on the main breach to set up for a plant. The smoke grenade as well, with a lack of Warden and all that pressure downstairs from the Buck and Deimos, it made JJ's job very challenging to know where exactly Railgun was attempting this post-plant position. So even though JJ had one more Toxic Babe in his back pocket, he might have been too afraid just to throw it out, either overexposing himself to line of fire or being afraid it'll miss and just not stopping the plant altogether. But All Gamers, 2 incredible round wins back-to-back on the attack, showing little to no errors in their game plan. I almost thought we were going to see a 5 Fears timeout there for them, and
yeah,
that was not the case. I think that is a little concerning. I know that their initial halftime conversation was like, guys, it doesn't matter if we get a little crazy these first couple of rounds. We know Moonlight's going to keep swinging like crazy and just dropping bombs on us, but you know, even with that pep talk, knowing what they were going to get themselves into, it still hasn't worked out for them.
Yeah, I imagine if they lose this next round, we'll see that timeout. 5 Fears on Bunk's briefing bring both the Warden and the Solus that All Gamers were missing on their defenses here. The Monty and the Sens are in play, so that Solus especially should be incredibly impactful if she doesn't get cleared out. All Gamers have a couple people upstairs. They've got Railgun and Solo Mid just outside Skybridge, probably just working to get control, set someone up on the window, and then move into the plant, because with no one ops, with no one display side, I think they're just going to try and go for it under the cover of Sense.
Again, they've seen a lack of Warden in play. This round it will be different for 5 Fears, but if you're not in the right place at the right time off that Solus information, knowing where exactly a plant is happening, that could be just enough time for All Gamers to once again get another plant down. And this early, being 2-0 in plant conversions on a map that can be rather defender-sided. We've got the Montaigne and the assistance of the Nomad air jabs to get this pillar/green stairs control. Not necessarily pillar, that's the part technically over by bomb site. Waiting a couple more seconds to maybe get the Thermite inside to get this back wall opened up, leading into the site pillar. That will be the case. So Forrest will be forced to fall back a little bit closer towards site or the opposing objective behind that keep a barrier. They've got tons of map control already, Harrison, and again, it's just if 5 Fears do not know where this plant is going down because of how many different openings there are now established from All Gamers, this could be a very tricky retake in their hands.
Again, there is that Solus, so there's no reason that 5 Fears shouldn't be able to find this unless the Thatcher comes into play. We haven't talked about this yet. He could very easily deny both the Warden and the Solus from using their gadgets now. All Gamers just waiting for the smoke babes from Fens to subside. He's got 2 more. Forrest may be looking to flank around green and around the pillar outside. All Gamers still looking for an opportunity to push. Another gas canister from Fens comes out, does a little bit of damage to Raygun. Here comes the push from Snake as well, looking for a pick. There goes the Nomad, looking for another, but immediately traded back by MC. That's going to also prompt Forrest to fall back. So now All Gamers knows that there were 2 people off site. Maybe they can just go for it. Smoke canister's in, ROU projector's in, but Moonlight's dead. And that's the guy who was supposed to stop the Solus. Now they have the ping on the case. Macy does kill JJ. Forrest, no way to deny because Railgun is trying to turn. Oh, he finally gets it through the smoke. Rival cleans him up. Secondary plant attempt now comes in from the Sens. Rival, he's out of the scan. He can't use it, and thus it's gonna go down. Dropping the hatch, taking the fight against MC. Good for one, but Yaz instantly there for the trade, and it's a lead now for All Gamers.
And again, Harrison, it all comes down to the what if. And as the plant was reattempted from Sen, Solus, unable to spot it, shut down from the vert through the floor, is now forcing his teammate in a 1 versus 2 with really no chance of Rival coming back in that position, working off of such little information. Now the timeout is called for 5 Fears, as you correctly guessed. And their coach seems infuriated. He is trying to hype up his team as much as he humanly can. I mean, they've lost 3 rounds in a row on layer defense, and every single time it was off of a plant, too. All Gamers are doing a better job at what 5 Fears are known for.
Yeah, the setups from All Gamers have been really good. And again, even though they lost that Thatcher, I thought that was kind of going to be the nail in the coffin for them, but able to swiftly recover, and the Solus waiting for her gadget to recharge could do nothing while that secondary plant attempt came down. All Gamers have their first lead since they won round number 1. Monty's going to get banned by 5 Fears, which makes total sense. They have played him incredibly consistently and found a lot of value from their Monty. All Gamers taking away the Solus.
I think it's a good idea. Again, 5 Fears, they love to roam, especially on larger maps like Lair. Solus could have been the saving grace of this round we just saw. Now that's no longer on the board, they might be allowed to get more vert established on a bomb site like Office in our 6th room, because we've seen the Buck and Deimos in play a lot by All Gamers. That's currently what they have highlighted right now, but that could change. Ram is also a great operator for a lab defense done by 5 Fears. Although one of the better roamers that 5 Fears could have used is now gone. That still leaves open operators like Rival, who's also a good info operator on Valkyrie. The black eye cameras, you can still roam upstairs quite sufficiently. You've got Snake, who can play above briefly, at least to place down some of these mute jammers and maybe play over from filter, kind of like what a smoke typically does, and only using that C4 as your get out of jail free card. Force could roam with the Ella Gersmots. So plenty of stall potential still for 5 Fears, just not necessarily as much, not util denial, but drone denial off of at least the Solus scanner. Not as much fluid drone denial. It'll be more stagnant off of those jammers instead.
Yeah, All Gamers immediately after the Monty gets banned, they are now on the Blackbeard. So they've got Railgun on that shield. Moonlight now able to flex over to a more frag-oriented operator. Or sorry, he was the one on Thatcher. I don't know why I thought he was on the shield. 5 Fears, of course, have an extension upstairs. Fens maybe looking to challenge security here. It is rather light. It's just him and Snake on the middle floor. Rival all the way upstairs, either looking to flank later in the round or just shoot drones before falling back. Wall getting open to help expose this first floor roam. And All Gamers really dedicating a lot of time to clearing this out. Curious that they don't have the Ram, too. If they want to clear this roam, you'd figure they'd have her. Instead, they have the Sledge and the Buck to duo, which, I don't know. I feel like with Ram, you get enough vert for the push. I don't know if you need the redundancy here.
They just might want the extra grenades. That could be helpful for the Vulcan Pact, for the Banshees, making Blackbeard's job easier of closing the distance towards site or dealing with the initial roam extension that 5 Fears had put a lot of stock into. Again, those mute jammers, the several players still lingering upstairs. The only person to fall back is Forrest down in the basement. You could count Rival has given up the 2nd floor and has now joined the rest of his teammates in the middle floor, but that is still, of course, the roam, obviously. All Gamers now adjusting as well, now moving their way from Warehouse, but there's still vert being held against them up top.
We're just going to have to be careful because Moonlight is just outside lockers, and this Dokkaebi call might herald the Buck to work his way in. Spots Forrest completely unaware, taking out one of those players on the vert. Forrest Or sorry, not Forrest. That was the Goyo offense. Forrest is able to get a kill, and Rival strings together two. This Execute now falling apart as Five Fears are able to handle All Gamers moving their way in with that Blackbeard.
And I think that clear upstairs just took far too long, and it also just wasn't cleared out ever. You know, I loved the teamwork there of a Logi Bomb, which masked the sound of Moonlight lurking to get that first entry on defense right, but there's still two other defenders upstairs. Rival netting one and a second kill, rotates back down below, getting that Nitro Cell onto the Blackbeard as well, completely stabilizing the round for Five Fears. So after their timeout, they will at least tie in the scoreline. Snake as well was also up above, so he did eventually trade his fallen comrade, killing Moonlight. It never really felt like All Gamers had a correct solution for dealing with Five Fears' aggressive roam up top. Yes, they did at least force back most of them into sight when they went into missile, but again, still a multi-layered defense by Five Fears because not every single member fell back, and there was no one to assist Moonlight either.
And once Moonlight got traded back and Five Fears were still able to work the vert, they had pretty much won the round. They tie the score 5-5. We go back to Master, though, where All Gamers had incredibly fierce pushes, especially that latter one where they just forced JJ out of storage with the Monty and barrel their way in. They don't have a shield this time, though, so they won't have that free spearhead working up Skybridge and into storage to dislodge that smoke. Instead, they're working with the Sens. Snake and Deimos also supply a lot of information. I think they want to go kind of with the bottom pressure again up into sight, clearing out power positions before they go in for the plant with Sens.
Don't really have a lot necessarily to stop those ROUs either. You've got a couple of Nitro Cells at best. Maybe throwing out some Razor Blooms. Fens is saving a couple in his back pocket, probably just to counter the shield if it was in play for All Gamers. Instead, if there is info about where Solomon is attempting this plant, that could be utilized just to outright kill him. Not being able to get off that diffuser in time can maybe just blow him up with Razor Bloom here. Cut off, at least establishing from Solomon as he prones his way in through operation. You do have tons of operators to make space here to maybe allow Solomon on the plant. I also like Yaz still playing underneath as the Deimos. You get a Deathmark track on the mirror, which he's already collected. That could force the player off the office mirror window, and again, just providing more and more space for All Gamers to try this plant yet again.
Deploying drone. Reloading.
Railgun now using his Selmas to try and force back Snake here and his bunkered setup on Mask with the double mirror windows. It is successful. Rival still playing behind the desk is, of course, going to be an instrumental part of this hold. Solomid, the man with the case, likely going to be trying to work through that Mask wall to eventually get that Execute down. More ROU projectors being sent out by him to cut off the angle on the doorway. It was a pretty slow round considering the rest of the All Gamers attacks thus far. There's the other side of Mask now getting opened by Railgun, denying the other mirror window, and Rival just has absolutely no idea there's someone on his doorway. Moonlight just narrowly misses enough shots to kill the Azami. Gas canisters start to come out Mask to try and deny this plant attempt. Solo mid just has to wait it out, but it's Railgun with the opening pick onto JJ. Down goes the smoke. The gas canisters fall with him. Moonlight now traded. It's a 2 versus 2 trade. All Gamers in Five Fears, now a 3-on-3. Case has been dropped in the hallway outside Master. Rival retakes his position behind the desk, and now it's a 1 versus 1 as Yaz trades out his teammate bathroom side. 1 versus 1, Rival is still prone. Here comes Yaz, and he finds him! 3 huge kills by the Deimos, and All Gamers are up 6-5.
What a recovery by Yaz, securing match point for All Gamers. I almost thought Five Fears would have had that round in the bag, Harrison, but unfortunately, despite all the resources they had brought, the Mute especially was doing God's work that round, denying the Deathmark tracks, denying some of the Snake scans, and the Grim to a large extent as well, kind of keeping that death position alive for a lot longer than I would have originally anticipated. You know, it all looked so impactful for 5 Fears, but unlike All Gamers' defense, they were kind of tunnel visioned on the execute. They had no one watching for that lurk. And luckily for Yaz, he spotted that gap and took full opportunity of it, capitalizing on 3 different kills. I believe almost all of them were 1-for-1s too. Getting rid of Rival at the very end keeps All Gamers in the lead. And 5 Fears now, backs against the wall. They'll be returning to this top floor bomb site with a brand new look to their composition. You've got Forest now on the Tachanka, really trying to prove a point that they do not want this plant to go down. And Clash in play, which we've had a couple of operators played for All Gamers that aren't bad at dealing with Clash, but nothing specifically brought to deal with her. But to their credit, we've only seen her just now at round 12.
Yeah, it's going to be really important for trying to kill, or at least keep solo mid at bay on this Blackbeard. Crazy that 5 Fears are now going to Master for the 4th time this half. They haven't won it in any of the 3 previous attempts. If they go 0-4 here on what is usually the best side on the map, I think they're going to have to revisit their lair strats. Mask being opened up pretty early by the Ace, as we've seen from Railgun, because 5 Fears cannot play the Bandit or the Cade.
Nothing on the radar.
All Gamers making sure that there's no one right next to Moonlight as he attempts to take Skylight control. JJ roaming around on the Clash, just trying to see where the first point of contact is going to be. Rival also playing pretty aggressively over by Ops. 5 Fears don't want to give All Gamers any free map control, but in doing so, you've got like Fens pretty alone. JJ now finally coming back to Forest. In comes All Gamers as somebody is DC'd.
Oh no.
Forest is gone.
That's your Tachanka. That's one of your only pieces of plant denial, and, you know, basically for All Gamers, an entry kill, so to speak. JJ's still kind of alone right now against the Skybridge clear. Now forced to respect that push because, again, a lack of players next to him, excluding Fens. Maybe spotting the Ace isolated. That flash will, you know, blind him momentarily. A lot of damage dealt towards solo mid, and now 5 Fears just tripling down to fight back against All Gamers, but it totally backfires.
Yeah, I mean, JJ was blind, so I'm not quite sure how he died, but 5 Fears trying to push out against the mounting attack from All Gamers. They all fall, and map 1 goes the way of the last team from China.
You know, I can't fault 5 Fears necessarily for going for that play. You know, an unfortunate disconnect. You can't go for the rehost because we're midway through the action phase. You figure, you know what? Look for somebody isolated, and maybe we can kill them and get a 4 versus 4. But, you know, just an unfortunate circumstance. They try to get aggressive to work back those trades. Doesn't pan out for them. So good job punishing the wide swings there by All Gamers. I got to say, though, excluding round number 12, Harrison, you made a great point that the other 3 previous rounds we saw Office in play, All Gamers won it every single time. And I believe they got every plant down besides one of those rounds, right?
I think so, except for the round we just saw and the round prior. So out of the 4 rounds, they had 2 plants successful over by Mask. We are going to go to a break, allow 5 Fears to recollect themselves, and we will be back with Chalet in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone, to Five Fears versus All Gamers, and we have a bit of an interesting case on our hands. The admins have ruled that due to the disconnect of Forest in the middle of round 12, we are going to full replay that round.
Interesting. All right. Well, that's at least good for Five Fears. They get another opportunity and the potential chance of not going offices again and losing it for a 5th time. It seems as all 10 players are in lobby and ready to start back round number 12. Again, All Gamers, despite the reattempt of round number 12, were in the lead 6-5. They've had an incredible attacking half. Like, I cannot downplay how I guess impactful their ability is to make space to then get the plant off without a hitch. Five Fears have really been struggling with not just stopping the plant outright, but also just slowing down All Gamers on the entry. Moonlight before the rehost had well over double digits. We saw that clutch by Yaz as well. That was just beautiful to watch. I believe the match has officially started up as well. So in just a couple moments, we will move away from the player screens and return back to the evil lair of Mr. Deimos. Mr. Deimos R6.
Is that his full legal name?
I think it's still redacted, but that's what it is to be rumored. So I cannot confirm nor deny, but if it wasn't his name, why would he have an R6 room?
You think he named the room after himself?
It's entirely possible.
They're going back to Master.
Okay. Don't know how I feel about that, but one of the other additions to the rehost was that the defenders can, of course, change their lineup. So can the attackers. So now they've brought out the Tubarao. And was Warden played initially last time? Do you recall?
No.
Okay. So there are some differences here on Five Fears. Oh, yeah. They don't have a Thorn or a Clash either. I feel like, to be fair, based off of All Gamers' lineup, they didn't really have a problem with confronting Clash. I remember last round JJ, because Forrest disconnecting, tried to get aggressive for a gunfight and got flashed by an ace on the R6 doorway and just died outright. But still, maybe just being more comfortable with overall versatile utility for stopping a plant could be a better alternative, because again, we've highlighted how clear and concise All Gamers have been for setting up post-plant positions. Interested in seeing for All Gamers' lineup the overall lack of changes, I suppose. I think now we've got MC on the Buck. It's the glaring difference to me, and Solo Mid is now on the Blackbeard as well. I don't think he was playing him last time, was he?
No, he was.
He was?
He's
Okay. I've seen them rotate a little bit. Railgun at one point, I think, was on the shield for Montaigne before he was banned, so that's at least been a little different from previous times.
Yeah, you might be right. I think you're right.
Am I right? Did you just try lying to me on broadcast there?
I think I'm tripping.
That's okay.
I lied. I'm not tripping. He retired a long time ago.
Oh, true.
Master Office will see if Five Fears do indeed go 0 for 5 on this bomb site. Maybe we'll cut them a little slack because Forrest DC'd, and he is the Tachanka, a very important part of this defense. Again, he is going to be part of that main plant denial along with JJ on the smoke. All Gamers so far, you mentioned, have been doing such a good job at creating enough space to get that plant down and forcing their way into positions like Skybridge, forcing players like Snake and JJ back into storage and then just collapsing upon them and getting the kills. All Gamers have really woken up after that after that first half concluded. Only hard breach, of course, being Railgun on this ace. He's already used one of his Selmas to open up half that mask wall. And already the attack working up towards storage. JJ will likely see gas canister. Okay, Samika launchers now to try and stop this Blackbeard for as long as they can.
Having both the Tachanka and Smoke as well will prolong this push from Skybridge that was very effective last time All Gamers had attempted it. Tons of damage dealt on both Railgun and MC. Massive openings found for 5. Nitro Cell from Snake. In the blink of an eye, we just got back into lair, and the round could already be concluded for All Gamers, as it's just Yaz on the Operation Lurk, forced to get 4 different kills if they want to win this in regulation, but it seems highly unlikely. Diffuser across the map. You still have tons of utility here by Five Fears, and only 30 seconds left. We're bound to see overtime now, as Five Fears now have a second wind in their system to potentially beat their opponent's map pick of Lair against All Gamers.
Yes, I mean, he got his. He killed Rival outside Ops, but unfortunately the rest of the push completely shut down by the smoke and the Tachanka. The C4 that came out from Snake. No one on the attack could make it past Skybridge and into storage. There's another kill for Yaz. Almost a third, but Snake shuts him down, and 5 Fears do push us to overtime.
And again, the adjustment made there from 5 Fears, it did seem like a risk going back to Office for a 5th time, but instead they had new operators, tons of utility to stop the shield from making space, and JJ being on an active gun as well, keeping him in a heads-up position to take fights, assisting Forrest there, and the Toxic Canisters also finishing off a member of All Gamers as well. That was a well-needed round for 5 Fears to keep themselves alive in map number 1. Again, the Nitro Cell also added in there from Snake, just making that position near impossible to come back from for All Gamers. Interested in seeing where we will head. It is back to Office, but of course the sides have switched. Now we're in overtime. I was going to start laughing, Harrison, if 5 Fears, they go on defense for overtime and then just immediately go back to Offices. That would have been hilarious.
Now, this is a very smart pick from All Gamers. It is the only site that they won in that first 4-2 split that 5 Fears were able to get, which is what kind of makes this half a little bit dangerous for both teams, right? All Gamers, you go here, you win Master for a 3rd time, but you weren't able to win either Labs or Bunks. So if this gets pushed to round 15, where do you choose to defend? For 5 Fears, they don't have a site that they were perfect defending on. I guess except technically Labs, because they only played it once, and they won it. So I think we're probably going to see Labs for them too. Of course, we got to get through this round first. All Gamers, the big glaring difference right now is Moonlight on Vigil. He's feeling it. 14-9, he puts himself on the boss G, and he's going to be running around the map looking for picks.
Oh, and look at the potential rush here from 5 Fears. JJ already in operation, clearing this shield. Could have been a great angle to hold off this push from operation, but 3 members of 5 Fears already inside the building at the 40-second marker. No one with Nitro Cells, so you can't play below to shut that down. And Moonlight maybe expecting someone outside, but is worried that they could be watching the run out. He's correct about that intuition call. It's Snake prone underneath the window, waiting for a Vigil. Still 5 versus 5, and what I thought was going to be a potential rush has now slowed down drastically for 5 Fears. Yes, they still have op control. Yes, they've got the main breach secured as well to allow for a plant later on, but no initial entry, and now rotating outside as well, maybe to assist Fens with securing bathroom by walking in through bottom main like we saw back in round number 1, I believe it was.
Yeah, I think that initial rush was just to get quick ops control so that they could focus on other things. Here's the Finka boost as well as JJ trying to come in, but he's lit up by Moonlight, and here comes the assist. Another smoke bait from Solo mid. He's lit up to 1 HP, but he's successful in taking down JJ on the blitz. Opening pick goes the way of All Gamers. They take down the shield player. And 5 Fears, Rival trying to just make his way to the bomb site. He domes Yaz and now has mass control, and he's looking for more. Just narrowly spots the cross from the smoke of Solo mid back into the bomb site. And if Rival wants to make anything happen here, he's going to need help.
Unfortunately, losing JJ there. The adrenaline surge boosting up his breath or his breathing rate, forcing those toxic fumes to just be inhaled and burn away at his HP. 4 versus 4 still off the back of Rival's potential gap spotted. Moonlight now forced off the roam to come back to site and assist his teammate. Unsuccessful on this flank as well. Forrest going in for the plant, and there isn't a lot of denial to stop this anymore, Harrison. This could be a huge moment for 5 Fears.
Forrest just gets off the plant and gets out his gun. He kills the player trying to swing him. Rival allows the Vigil past the cross, but then cleans him up as the plant goes down. And for the first time this map, it looks like 5 Fears will crack the Master Office hold. 3 versus 1 Solo mid, Solo on HP, and 5 Fears get the job done. Rival walking into Mask, killing the Azami behind desk, opens the round for 5 Fears, and All Gamers couldn't deny the plant.
And again, that forced the Vigil off of their roam, because if not, they would have had such a man deficit in sight. And with the player behind desk being gone as well, Harrison, you also don't have anyone to really deny the plant off of utility. You used all your toxic babes to stop the lobby push. That does kill JJ. That's good for Solo and the rest of all gamers, but you still have other frag grenades. You still have the gap that Rival spotted in the round. And I believe 5 Fears noticed like midway through the plan of, oh, these guys don't have anything to stop this. And again, there's no one masked. Let's just play gun up, see if they try to wide swing and we get a kill before we confirm that post plan. That's exactly what happens. That was great situational awareness by 5 Fears. Now they're back in the driver's seat after what felt like such a dominant second half for all gamers. You were right on the money too, Harrison. We're going to be going back down to basement
that's the
by
smart
5
move.
Fears. Yeah, you've got more of the map to play with. If both bomb sites have looked choppy for you, this is probably your best option, all things considered. I believe one of the 5 Fears did win a defensive round on this basement site as well against all gamers, and a lot of that had to do with the lack of a roam clear. It felt like all gamers were just kind of on the outside of the map looking in most of that round.
Yeah, they got one guy upstairs. They got Fens as Goyo inside security, and then he was immediately refragged, and nobody else was upstairs. So I think it was the Valkyrie, whoever was on Valkyrie.
Yeah, Rival got like a 3K that round.
Yeah, you're right,
That was
Rival.
him.
Yep.
And Moonlight was the one to get the entry off a Logi bomb
Yeah, right
call.
before he got traded. So
Yep,
I
by
like
Snake.
this play from 5 Fears. I'm very glad that they are not going to Master Office again. We see Labs play.
That'd be crazy.
They've got plenty of utility. They've got Tachanka, they've got Echo, they've got Thorn to prevent all gamers from trying to get in and delaying them to try and play off this Echo. You want to waste as much time as possible. Also seeing that all gamers, if they don't get those opening picks, they do, while their site, their execute setups have been good for most of their half, they do take a while.
5 Fears as well, keeping a more passive composition for the basement site. Maybe expecting all gamers to fully clear out the map properly, unlike we saw the first time this site was initially in play. They don't want to sacrifice any bodies early on. They want to work off the utility like the Shamika launchers, like the Razor Blooms and Yokais, which for all gamers on defense, the Yokais gave tons of information and almost stopped a plant several times. MC spotting one of those Yokais by the blue staircase could maybe destroy that early and just slowly start to chip away at some of that util off of 5 Fears. Still having grenades as well to at least get rid of that barbed wire, maybe push down filter more fluidly by all gamers, more established upstairs off the skeleton key. I'm wondering if they're just going to wait on a 3-2-1 off a Logi bomb once again, because that's kind of what they did last time when we had the site in play, Harrison.
And yeah, there's only about a minute left. Fens covering one doorway opposite Rival's window. There's the Dokkaebi call. Fens may be waiting for a call from his teammate. Here's the swing. There's the peek, but in goes Yaz, and it's too late. He picks off Rival. Filter control goes in the hands of the attacks off that logic bomb. Fens far too late to assist his teammate, and maybe it cost 5 Fears this round. MC now duoing with that Dokkaebi. Case in hand for the Blackbeard, looking to make his way into that default plant spot, but Forrest and JJ stand in his way with the Shumika launchers and the Yokais. Snake, a default still up, spots the player on the verticality, but it's still Forrest to die to that player that Snake was just calling out. Now the Thorn attempting to challenge, no kill found just yet though. He comes worse for wear out of that engagement. Now the plant going down from MC. JJ just waiting patiently. There's the first blast. 13 seconds left. Another plant attempt. Does JJ even have more than one of these? There's a kill. Another one. No. Yes, the C4. A triple kill for Fens. Is this how the map ends? The plant completed just in the nick of time, but Fens is good for another. It's down to solo mid. He's got the verticality. Do 5 Fears try to retake or just challenge him through the vert? He's watching blue stairs. He hears the counter defuse. But he's not going to find the angle.
Oh, he's sticking it!
Is JJ just going to stick this? No! Solo mid drops 2! And now Snake has no choice but to stick! And solo mid with 4 to give all gamers a 7-7 tie!
And even though the Nitro Cell gets 2 for the Tubarão, the Yokai failing keeps the plant intact and the vert established for free by all gamers, giving solo mid the angle to get all 3 in the post plant. What a recovery by all gamers. Five Fears, they thought they saw the light at the end of the tunnel. Fens had the quad kill, 3 versus 1, but it just wasn't enough against solo mid. We go to max overtime in map number 1. We still have a chance of 2 more maps, Harrison. This game has been neck and neck for all gamers and Five Fears. And the question is, where are we going to go? Because all gamers, they could go back upstairs to office. Five Fears were successful on that attack because every other bomb site they've yet to win on defense. Could they use that to their advantage, maybe assuming that Five Fears won't plan for it? I'm not entirely certain. I was thinking as well, we might have some technical issues, unfortunately. That's kind of unlucky timing, but...
We're stuck on the band swap screen.
Yeah.
So we will see. I feel like Master's got to be the pick, right? Like, even though you just lost it, you're still 2-1 here. You're 0-2 on all the other sites. So I feel like all gamers still probably go back to Master. Again, I love the play from Five Fears. I thought they played that round perfectly off of the Fens multi-kill, but then, you know, like you said, the Yokai just missing. That was terrible. I mean, JJ even had, like...
We could hear the Yokai blast going off. I think
off in time.
It might have missed because of that little, like, electric box next to Blackbeard, or he just whiffed it somehow. I'm not entirely sure, but I heard it go off. The C4 definitely landed, but, you know, didn't stop the plant. Was just a second too late.
We're also getting information that the admins are reviewing something. We're not quite sure what, but I believe that's why we have this this little mini break as we wait for round 15. If it is back top floor, because all gamers, you know, they had that guy running around on the Vigil. Five Fears went for the fast ops clear and then tried to go main, and then Robin just walked into the site. Do we see Five Fears swap to, like, a bathroom display push, or do they go Skybridge? Do they try? Because basically every time they try to take, all 3 attacks have been an ops to mask focused play.
I'm not entirely sure if they should try to change that up, Harrison. Their op clears have not been too difficult, although that isn't really the extent for all gamers. More specifically, they prioritize more playing closer to bathroom and initially from that lobby staircase. And that's also been kind of unsuccessful. You know, Five Fears have committed a lot of utility. They've dropped bodies occasionally, dealing with main stairs, which has made the execute challenging for them. Maybe Skybridge could be the right call, I guess, but I also think a different lineup would be necessary as well. We only saw a roam established from Moonlight, and it was 1 round solo for Vigil. Maybe more roam presence could be the correct idea for Five Fears rather than just trying to brute force your way into sight and going in for the plant immediately. Instead, just applying more pressure onto the bomb site from other angles that aren't just by the Sky Bridge and R6 side of the map. Instead, having a Buck, having a Deimos, like what all gamers have been doing a lot for their attacks, and it's also been successful for them.
I was going to say, I want maybe they take a page out of all gamers' books and push Skybridge super heavy with the shield.
Yeah, also a fair point.
Because that was really successful for them. Again, still waiting for whatever decision is currently being made. We are just as lost as all of you. We're all we're in this together.
I'm typically lost as is, so I'm glad everyone else is, like, at my level now.
Yeah, everyone's been lowered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel right at home. Trying to think as well about the next map in play. You know, it's Chalet. I would say there's more outside pressure on that map compared to Lair, for example. Could maybe also see a lot more rush plays. We haven't really seen Five Fears or all gamers go for a total commit. Like, we want to rush this site. We want to plant. It's been a lot more methodical to set up for those executes, although still a plant-dominant matchup between both Five Fears and all gamers. I wonder, actually, Harrison, how many plants have we seen successfully done between All Gamers and Five Fears, and I think
Like successfully converted,
just successfully planted.
just plants.
But conversion would be
3,
nice, too.
6. So we have 8 total plants, 4 from each side.
Wow. Okay.
Five Fears are 3 for 4 in conversions. All Gamers are 4 for 4.
Yeah, that's insane.
So lots of success. Again, both teams love setting up for the execute. They're very execute heavy. They go for the objective. I agree against Chalet. There's a lot of outside play. Also can be objective heavy. Also very shield heavy.
Oh,
both
yeah.
Both teams have displayed that they love their shields. They play a lot of it. Chalet, though, is an interesting map for these teams because All Gamers have not played it in a while. They didn't play it in kickoff. They haven't played it this event. Chalet, I think, was the first map where people really started to take Five Fears seriously because they almost 7-0'd Shopify Rebellion on that map. So it makes sense why they'd want to pick it.
And then we've got Labs as our potential decider. If All Gamers win their map pick, and then we see Five Fears winning theirs. Also a good map for both of these teams. I think All Gamers have played Labs at least once during this event. Maybe more than that. We probably have the stats for that as well.
Yes, they played it against... No, they didn't. I lied.
I saw the Edward Gaming matchup. Was that just during
That
the
was
kickoff?
kickoff, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. But they are 4... Was it 4-0 on that map, or is it a different statistic I'm looking at?
Yeah, they're 4-0.
Okay.
And then Five Fears obviously played FaZe here and almost took FaZe to
Almost
overtime.
won, yeah. That was
crazy.
their first game
Yeah.
in the Swiss stage.
First ever game.
First ever impression of Five Fears, almost beating back-to-back world champs. That was a really fun game to watch. It is also jarring that we have literally casted every single Five Fears game this event by pure coincidence.
Yeah, I think we mentioned at the beginning, right? Like the schedule gets decided ahead of time, and we just happen to have all of the Five Fears games. So
We're like, yeah, it'd be cool to cast JJ. Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. JJ, someone I have been casting since 2019, since he was. How old?
God,
is
you are
he?
old.
I know. That's 7 years ago, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
that
am I
adds up.
talking about? It's 2026. I forgot what year it was. That's why. So yeah, 7 years
That's all
ago.
good.
I think JJ's 22. So I've been casting him since he was 15, which is crazy. And now he's at a major. Same thing with Spiker. Glad we got a wild card game in. Spiker, he's even younger. I think he was 14 in 2019.
So I wonder if that game is concluded yet between Dark Zero and Wildcard. That's one of the other promotion games.
Good question.
Because Shopify Rebellion, I believe, have qualified. We mentioned
Yes,
that earlier
Shopify Rebellion
against
qualified.
Enterprise. Dark Zero versus Wildcard.
Ah.
I think Dark Zero had one map won.
Yes,
Yeah,
DZ
they
won
did.
7-4, and then as far as I know, it's 3-3 on Club, which is DZ's pick. There's also, I don't know what the hell is going on, but there's this announcement that's going on through the arena right now. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Yeah, if our production thinks maybe it's like a fire drill or something. It's this woman's voice going, it sounds like she's saying POV1. This is POV1, and then just a really loud beep. It's pretty terrible. I hope you guys can't hear this.
I don't think so. Our
This is
mics are not
POV1,
picking up.
POV1.
I do not think so.
I'm just gonna start doing that.
I'd
This is
prefer if you didn't
POV1,
do that.
POV1.
I really would prefer if you didn't do that, Harrison.
Again, we have as much info as you guys. It's still paused on the round 15 screen. There's still a discussion happening, I think, because you can kind of see the players' screens, right? It's not like we're going into a rehost. So something is happening. The rare something is happening.
You sure that it's just nothing? It's all distraction for nothing, Harrison. This also does give a lot of time for at least the players to speak amongst themselves, not the coaches, obviously, because it isn't a tactical timeout.
Yeah.
So they really can mull over their strats for round number 15, the ultimate
All right.
display between All Gamers and Five Fears. And finally, we're back in the game.
Yes. And Master Office is the bomb site in play. So, looks like All Gamers agrees with us that this is their best chance of winning because that they can hope that that one-round loss was just a blip on the radar. You don't want to go back down to sites that you were not successful on anytime you played it. They've got both Tachanka and the Smoke in play as well. The last time they defended it on round 13, obviously they had the Vigil and the Warden and the Jaeger. They had a very different lineup. Now I think this is going to be a lot less aggressive for All Gamers. They're probably going to allow 5 Fears to set up here, and then once they go in for the execute, they'll be met with the Elemines and the Smokes and the Tachanka, etc.
Forest also on the Lion rather than Glaz. We have not seen a lot of Glaz in play, at least for map number 1. I still think, again, the grenades, Lion DMR, also extremely helpful. You've got those E1D scanners. JJ now on the Capitao as well can also provide smoke coverage of his own to secure a plant. Again, 3 for 4 on the plant conversions for 5 Fears. 4 for 4, flawless by them on their attacking plants. Got some early info once again towards Operation. We might have a near identical clear by 5 Fears, it seems, as they've already got some intel over by Operation. Could send Rival in to get that range destruction down, to look towards the sight lines and mezzanine at the safety of Operation. Forest peeling over by the rappel, looking into bathroom, assisting Fens with just an extra gun in case someone decides to overswing. Could at least be a 1-for-1 trade. There goes the Lion scan as well. JJ at the bottom of this staircase from lobby, maybe utilizing the Capitao bolts early just to get himself upstairs and, you know, just have a 2-pronged assault from both mezzanine and the actual site of office.
Yeah, ideally, eventually you have Snake here to track Yaz behind that desk. He's playing around those Kiva barriers, which we know in the past have given 5 Fears a whole lot of trouble. We could also maybe see JJ rotate around and use his Capitao Bolt here. Forest and Rival taking in through Ops. They've got Mask open now. JJ sending some utility in. Sumika launcher starting to come out from the Tachanka. Yaz has been flushed out from desk, though, so this position is open. Solo mid already using a couple of his toxic gas canisters. More Shamika's coming in. 5 Fears are wasting a lot of this utility pretty early in the round.
Thank you. POV1 has officially been removed from our ears.
I don't know what the hell that was.
Yeah, that was really silly. But it's still a 5 versus 5 now. 50 seconds left to go, and still plenty of utility for All Gamers to stop a plant. I feel like we once again might run into the same issues 5 Fears have had for this bomb site, which is just making this gap to then get in for an actual plant, and they've lost the initial advantage.
Solo mid, though, next to dying.
Oh, what a shot!
Thrown on the floor, takes the head off Macy. Is there going to be enough space to plant, though? JJ now in mask as bodies start to fall from All Gamers. Railgun, the last man standing, trying to deny this, but Fens cleans him up. And 5 Fears in overtime solve Master and Office and take away All Gamers map pick 8-7.
5 Fears electric after that comeback, down around 6-5 in max regulation. Forest makes a hero play to secure 2 kills, getting the plant down and bringing us to overtime, and the same exact thing happens in round 15. We still have the potential of 2 more maps in this elimination game between All Gamers and 5 Fears, but before we see Chalet, we'll bring ourselves to another break and return shortly, so don't go anywhere.
Elbows up and my money out, 'cause I came to get down, so let's run it up. I'ma keep
Welcome back, everyone. After Map 1's thrilling conclusion, 8-7, 5 Fears, we move to map number 2, Chalet, 5 Fears pick. Now, we discussed this a little bit during one of the admin pauses right before round 15, but all gamers haven't really played this map a whole lot. If we want to find their last play of it, it's way back at SILCQ. They did not play it at all. Kickoff. And meanwhile, on the other side, 5 Fears almost 7-0'd Shopify Rebellion on this map, who are now in playoffs.
Yeah, they're the first NA team to make it up into the playoff stage. It'll either be Wildcard or Dark Zero, depending on how the A-Stream match pans out. Although Dark Zero not only won map number 1, but they also have a current lead on Clubhouse, I believe it is right now, on their defensive half.
Right, 4-3, something like that.
Yeah, 5 Fears now in the lead as well, winning their opponent's map pick of Lair. Now to Chalet, where they have a lot more experience on this map than all gamers, probably reading into that, and hence why they wanted to go here from route number 2, rather than something like Fortress, which was already banned against them by all gamers, because they're also still flawless on that map. And with a lot of teams that have already qualified for playoffs that like to go to Fortress, if 5 Fears were to make it there, that could be an interesting discussion to have on desk, saying, you know, do we just target ban Fortress against this team? And that's something we could also discuss tomorrow if 5 Fears also win this series too.
Yeah, because I think Twisted Minds played Fortress. Wildcard, also another big Fortress team. 5 Fears, I think, what are they now, 5-0 on it, I believe?
Maybe? Something
like that, but they're undefeated no matter how many wins they have. Now we go, again, on to Chalet, a map that does involve a lot of outside play. You work a lot on the balconies, a lot on the rappels. There are lots of shield usage, and most importantly, for both teams, this map can be incredibly objective focused. You know, we mentioned it again during that pause during the last map. There were, what, 8 plants? Yeah, 8 plants, that map, which is crazy.
Both attack overtimes for 5 Fears, they got a plant down too, right? Or was it just one of them? It might have been just one of them, but still a successful round nonetheless. I do think it's interesting that the one bomb site they really struggled to attack going into overtime, they win it both times to then take their opponent's map pick. Really good show of improvement directly during the match.
Does Forrest have one of the hotel pillows?
He's just trying to be comfy, bro. He's had a long day in the chair.
That's really
this is his 9 to 5. We will quickly take a look at the map, Vito, just one last time before heading on off into Chalet to remind everyone of our decider map pick as well. If we go to there, it's Night Haven Labs, which is, again, also a favorite for both these teams. And I think, again, the play style of how all gamers in 5 Fears, you know, like to establish themselves on both the attack and defense has been really enjoyable to watch, at least for me personally. And I think Labs is, you know, smack down the middle between Chalet and Lair, right? You know, you have those full anchor compositions that you see going onto the top floor of Command and Server. You have the roam presence that is so normal when defending the basement on that bomb site. The same thing can be said for Chalet. I feel like, yes, there's a lot of good attacker presence, you know, sitting outside near highway or master balcony, holding cutoff angles and waiting on defender rotations to work picks without necessarily getting yourself in harm's way, unless someone lands like a nasty shot across the map, of course. But you also do have a lot of good roam potential, hence why those cutoffs are very impactful for the attackers to keep a player on. So I am interested if all gamers, maybe they change their play style up a little bit going into Chalet. It's a map they're a little less, not less uncomfortable with, less comfortable on in comparison to Lair, the map they just unfortunately lost to Five Fears. Maybe that could allow Five Fears to be a lot more aggressive on their attack, and it's a slightly smaller map than Lair 2, so the opportunity for plants is also very fruitful for them and all gamers once they go on the second half. So just overall, I cannot wait to get into the game, Harrison. Enough said.
All gamers are actually kind of scary on Labs. I think they're on they're like 6-0 on that map, dating back to
wow,
SILCQ.
really?
Yeah, they won it twice at the
That's
SILCQ.
sick.
They won it 4 times at kickoff. It was their favorite map.
So Five Fears would probably prefer to get this one and done
absolutely.
in a 2-0. Yeah.
I mean, any team wants to get it done 2-0, but yeah, Labs,
They have more reason for it now.
Labs a little bit maybe scarier than Lair was. Again, just waiting for somebody to be ready before we load into Chalet. I suppose we can theory craft a little bit. Again, very shield-centric map. I would not be surprised if we see shield bans immediately, although all gamers have not banned a shield on, I'm looking at Labs. All gamers on Chalet, they haven't played it. Five Fears typically try to remove, stuff like the Ying and the Monty. Blitz gets banned against them a lot. Glaz gets banned against them a lot. I think we're probably going to see something pretty similar from all gamers because Chalet, as much as it can be objective and shield focused, it can also be very easily cheesed because it is such a small map. I thought I saw something change. I thought we were about to get into it. Roman, can you sit down?
I think one of the reasons, to touch up briefly on what we saw in Lair and then your discussion of operator bans for Chalet, Harrison, one thing we didn't see any of really was Glaz. And maybe the idea behind that for Five Fears is that they wanted to save this operator for Chalet, their map pick. So ideally, when you look at a map ban phase, you figure, okay, good chance we lose our opponent's map pick, even if we're also strong on that map specifically. Then we go to our preferred pick and then the decider. So choosing to save stronger operators for your map pick makes a lot of sense on paper. And there's other operators you can use that don't do the same job as Glaz, but the same idea can be present where like you're using smoke utility and creating space to get a plant down. Clearly, Five Fears did not have a problem doing that without a Glaz. Now on a more aggressive map where you're probably taking a lot of gunfights early to make space for that plant, Glaz could be a really big threat with that, especially if all gamers choose not to bring out a Warden, which they didn't do all too frequently, if I remember correctly, on Lair. I know it was brought, but just not consistently.
Yeah, they only brought him. The only site they brought him on was for bunks.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think it's because and they also had a Solus, I think, for that round too.
They did. Yeah, and then she got banned right after that.
Instantly.
Yeah, but yeah, Warden a lot more useful on Chalet, or does find a lot of use on Chalet too. Again, because of the Ying and the Glaz and all that stuff. I don't know what this delay is. Because we've got everybody in the lobby. Everyone's here. You know what the delay is?
Huh?
You know what the delay is?
No.
The big red button in front of me that says start the game. I'm not going to press it.
Why?
I hate you.
I mean, we already knew that. You could have at least made up something more enjoyable.
I want our viewers to suffer. That's why I'm not pressing the button.
Because
Sorry,
we
guys.
already haven't suffered enough, Harrison, with the POV1.
I'm not pressing the button. Oh yeah, POV1. Yeah, we found out that was somehow one of the lines to the monitor started pushing like a test, an audio test or something, out of nowhere. Don't know how that.
What is going on for 5 Fears?
I don't know, man. Dude, Forrest has not sat down this whole time. Is that where maybe he's got the big red button?
I doubt that.
Would
you trust Roman with the big red button?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
We're waiting on Forrest to sit down, and then we can start the game.
To be fair, I clearly wouldn't trust you because you wouldn't press it because you hate me. So I guess I wouldn't trust you with it either.
Oh, the official's talking.
Can't trust anyone, not even yourself. Hopefully, whatever issue is had between All Gamers and or 5 Fears, it gets resolved. hopefully, next few minutes, we will be able to push to map. But again, in the meantime, looking at Chalet for 5 Fears and All Gamers, I am interested in at least the bans that we end up seeing today for map number 2. You mentioned that the shields can be banned quite a lot. We've had some cheese bans as well against 5 Fears with that Ying and the Glaz. That also does bring up the question, too, like if 5 Fears are worried about cheese ops being banned, like are they going to also try to wait for them before playing? Maybe having the 3rd round conclude, having that last ban be picked out, and then start bringing a lot more cheese just as a second wind for some of their later attacks, because that is the half they're starting on. They'll be attacking first, All Gamers defending first as well. So I am very interested in seeing what their lineup is going to be. And also for All Gamers, as they've basically never played this map in recent times, as you said, Harrison. I do wonder, you know, what preferences they're going to have for defending, too. If they're going to have more emphasis on the utility extensions, or if they're going to prefer to roam instead, having players like Moonlight really lead that charge in the kill department. Only time will tell. I think Harrison's getting some more specific stats.
I was just looking for
bro's looking to look. Okay.
I was gonna pull up their
Use
game.
your eyes, buddy.
I was gonna pull up their game in SILCQ because that was their only play of Chalet.
Wow, really? Okay.
I don't remember what match it was. Let's see. It was against Soul's Heart Esport in the semifinals, I believe. Let's see. What kind of info can we glean from this? They played Chalet. They won it 7-5 against them. They banned Ying, Blitz, Grim, Azami, Clash, Ella. And look at that. We did it. We made it. We survived to the start of the game. See, I got the info on All Gamers Chalet, and then I hit the button. That's what I was waiting for. If you had asked me about their previous play sooner,
Was that the magic word?
Yeah, we would have started the game sooner.
Can we look at the specific Chalet stat of All
chat,
Gamers on their one map?
You can blame John for not saying the magic words.
I mean, when in doubt, just blame me. It's a good rule of thumb. I could even not be on broadcast. You could still blame me, and it's like, you're probably right.
Your girlfriend does it. My wife does it.
Yeah, everybody hates John. It's like that one show.
The Dalai Lama does it. All the way from...
Okay, that was a good
where
one.
Are they?
That was a good one.
I think.
I believe so, yeah.
Anyway.
Well,
Finally, Chalet. I love Chalet. Chalet has been one of our personal favorite maps for a long time. Ever since the rework. It's been interesting its whole life cycle. And Master Bedroom and Office. Wow, we get Master and Office in the site name again. First for All Gamers. Typically, the site people don't really like because of the big cutoff from double window. It's super oppressive. If you get piano, like the piano window, that cutoff can be super oppressive. Solar takes can be pretty easy as well, mounting a push from that side of the map. It's interesting that All Gamers start here, although I feel like we've seen a recent uptick in Master.
Oh, for sure.
Because people don't like basement anymore either.
It's just very hard to commit so many resources to a roam to waste time when you also have like Trench Door or the Snowmobile Wall or the chance to still lurk down blue to apply pressure. Like, there's very easy alternatives for an attacking team to clear and get into sight for a plant on Snowmobile when you also need to potentially worry about a top-to-bottom clears. It's just a lot going on when you pick that objective as your site of choice, whereas Office, not necessarily the same case. Like, if you want to go for a heavy roam downstairs, you can, but most roams just consist of, like, this mezzanine extension that we have done by MC off the back of this mirror window, which has now been destroyed off the Ash charge brought in by Fens. Some nades tossed out by Rival as well to break the castle barricade, cutting off this bathroom rotation for All Gamers. I like the early use of utility here by 5 Fears to try to get their foot in the door. Hatch, it's been opened up already, and the drone at least spotted that. Not too sure if they detected Moonlight, however. They did spot the Malusi downstairs, though, near kitchen hallway. So some info is gathered by 5 Fears already. I'm not sure if they want to overcommit to clearing from library, though, Harrison, because there's 3 people on that roam looking to hunt down this Blackbeard, who is currently by themselves, actually.
Yeah, there's a pretty far extension, which again is typically not all gamers' MO here, and they haven't fallen back yet. Yaz and Moonlight, nothing to pressure them out, so they feel comfortable. Just as I say that, though, Fens takes down Yaz. Rival, who is over by Bathroom Balk on Highway. He will get swiftly refragged, so it's no advantage for Five Fears just yet, but they do take out one of those roamers. Moonlight still left in games, though. I'm not sure if Five Fears know about him, because when we saw the drone work, we saw them spot the Malusi. I don't know if we ever saw them spot the Ella. They did not. Well, now they
didn't spot him, but unable to react in time to the Gersmont mine, so JJ will be full health and now completely okay. Actually, it wasn't...
It was Forest.
Was it? Yeah, it was Forest. Yeah. My mistake.
The other yellow icon operator.
Thank you. Took the words right out of my mouth. Snake, though, on the cutoff from Master as well. Maybe looking for the adjustment here. Forest is now positioned from Highway. This seems to be a plant over from the solar side of the map. There is one Nitro Cell left for Railgun. He'll try to swing out, but Fens punishes him, and the plant is successful for Five Fears.
Wow, what a gap spot, and the coverage is perfect. Fens able to get away to solo mid. Cleans up JJ, though, while he attempts to kill Macy through the footholes. Forest cleans up Macy. And now look at these post-plant positions from Five Fears. You have one outside double window, one down below, one outside solar. This is going to be basically impossible as Fens gets his third. Moonlight finally out of his misery, and Five Fears take round number 1. Fens with 3.
An incredible gap spotted as well for Five Fears. Their initial idea was to try to get that shield inside a library, but they take their time to gather info before jumping the gun. They don't know what they're getting themselves into. They spot 2 people downstairs. Fens winning one of those 2 entries initially, and their Highway player is now traded. So if JJ were to push in by himself from library, he doesn't really have anyone close by to assist him. So what they do instead, they take more time to gather info and realize there's all this off-site presence by dining room, over by library and bar. Let's just rotate. We could get Blackbird in behind the master bed and try to get this plant down, and as long as we kill the Mira with her Nitro Cell, that's all we have to really worry about before we get this plant down. And because the Mira overextended herself into that line of sight Fens was holding, easy pickings for him. Now you've got a post-plant position in that man advantage and plenty of cutoff angles from outside the map. Again, that's something we highlighted before heading into Chalet officially, is that you get a lot of damage from just sitting someone outside on an angle, because how much you can watch in terms of defender rotations. That round proving the point perfectly as Five Fears get a buddy ace and a round win off the jump on their map pick.
Yeah, I didn't realize Forest also had 2 there. Now, All Gamer is going to swap to Bar. They've, of course, have this upstairs extension from Macy on the Aruni. Yaz playing over towards office, probably just shooting for drones and fallback, just like Moonlight is all the way by solar. Do not expect them to stay there. Five Fears still rocking the snake. This time Fens will don that operator. There's plenty of information in combination with him, the Lion, the Dokubi, and Fens will start things off. As I said, don't expect Moonlight to stay there. I thought he was going to fall back, not hit the ground. The Azami is dead. And within 30 seconds, that's like 80% of her Kibas are now gone.
That's probably the best operator you had for your extension upstairs. It's a very light hold by All Gamers. Some of the security gates can be helpful, of course, for library, but the Kibas are basically just inflatable shields, right? And I remember back in the old, like, well, my Jaeger meta, how strong the shield combination was, top blue and over by Mez. Now you've got nothing to really supplement that, unless Railgun brought his one deployable shield upstairs if it hasn't been destroyed already. I kind of doubt that, though, so a great opening pick to find for Five Fears out of all the defenders in the roster of All Gamers. It's also very easy, despite a Yokai on the board, to still get this plant down. You already have Forrest applying pressure from the site window, spotting the Fenrir's head, but unable to adjust his crosshair in time to flick onto it. But still, tons of information and lurks now being established as well for Five Fears, which the lurk was detected and shut down a couple of times by All Gamers, but still, we had moments where Snake was able to get some success on the base of floor bomb site, so maybe we could see that happen once again here in round 2.
And the Aruni has absolutely no idea that Snake has jumped through the double window. 5-3 advantage for Five Fears. Rival confirming full control of library. Forrest also holding on the Ivy window. Through the vert, Snake almost kills solo mid. Yaz also spotted top main, and it looks like through the first couple rounds, Five Fears just have every single possible avenue accounted for. Even JJ getting on the board outside the bar window on the solo mid. The Echo caught in a rotate, and it is flawlessly done by Five Fears.
And don't get me wrong, Harrison, this is the map pick of Five Fears. This is not the side they wanted to start on. And this is one of their best halves in general. They're an incredible attacking team, but just the way they've been winning this rounds, the way they've been catching all gamers off guard, that is the concern for me in all honesty. And, because this is not Five Fears' initial, choosing side, that means all gamers wanted to start on defense. They wanted some more comfort by being able to set the tempo, set the precedent, maybe looking for those early entries. They're now currently 0-2 on entry against Fens, and they're forcing attack timeout early, meaning they will have no room to breathe if their attacks also start on the wrong foot like we've seen here on defense. Now, they still have 4 rounds to play with on defense, so they could get a pretty decent half for themselves, then going into their preferred side of attack as well, obviously, but this has been a near perfect start by Five Fears. Again, their entry game spot on. They've detected multiple different gaps. Snake as well, specifically in round number 2. I don't know if he either hacked the Syria gate or just used a smoke grenade to burn it, but getting through completely unnoticed by MC, it just cut the head off of that Snake from the top floor extension. Funny enough, the player Snake doing that as well. That was not intentional, I swear. I'm not that smart of a guy. But
the player Snake or the operator Snake?
The animal
That's
Snake.
3 possible snakes.
Yeah.
By the way,
That's a pretty big number. You're getting near my limit, Harrison. I only got a couple more digits before things start getting weird.
By the way, we want to welcome the A-Stream viewers to the B-Stream, as John, Dark Zero, have confirmed their spot in playoffs, winning 2-0 over Wildcard. And if the information I have received is correct, the winner of this game plays Wildcard.
Wow.
We could potentially have, if Five Fears continue to roll on Chalet as they have done in the past, we have a potential JJ versus Spiker matchup for a spot in playoffs. That would be quite poetic, but still, all gamers obviously do not want to let it come to that. They take their time out. Hopefully, we'll see a more successful defense. Five Fears dominating the entry game. Fens 2-0 already. Basically no trades back except for round number 1 where the Snake died on Highway, but then Five Fears with that beautiful rotate to the other side on for the Master execute. Now it's Dining and Kitchen. Five Fears obviously going to be looking to clear upstairs. All gamers have plenty of DMRs to challenge these long angles upstairs. You've got Moonlight and Solo mid. Yaz and MC also supporting. So there's 4 people on this top floor extension.
Love the early gridlock track stinger usage as well, cutting off 2 of the major staircases on Chalet, and the piano swing from Ivy. So that does allow for a safer setup, allowing JJ to walk in his Thatcher, remove this electricity off the main wall upstairs. That'll be the Cade Claw disabled. It cannot be tricked against both the Selma charges and the Thatcher EMPs, but it will be prolonged with the help of this two-brow Zoto canister. JJ spotting the Cade Claw on his gadget will proc it once again before the electricity is reapplied off that Zoto canister being removed. Tons of utility being traded back and forth between Five Fears and all gamers, as it is only a matter of time before this wall gets opened up. But at least, to all gamers' credit, they're burning away a lot of seconds off Five Fears' clock.
Moonlight, though, officially out of Zoto canisters. Of course, Thatcher has more EMPs than Tuberau has freezes, so the wall will eventually fall. Now, Five Fears have that avenue into the top floor extension. They can hold outside office. The next question is, John, what do Five Fears do from here? Because there's always 2 possibilities, right? You open the office wall, you either sit someone on the balcony, hold it, and deny the vert, or you mount a full top floor clear. We'll see if Five Fears decide to go minimal here in a moment, but with Fens running in the middle of Piano and the drones confirming these couple of defender positions pushed back towards Solar, I think Five Fears are going for the clear.
They've dropped the diffuser as well, Harrison. They're pushing deeper through Piano. I think they want to take these gunfights. JJ now recovering that case. Still upstairs, however, is another body. It's only a matter of time before Five Fears try to look for someone overextending to work this first entry, but they've got so much map control, and that lack of vertical could maybe allow them to slip into sight and get a plant down.
They're looking for someone overextending, but the problem is nobody is. Yaz with the opening pick onto Rival, and that takes away one of these players upstairs for the attack, and it seems like off of that 5 Fears are going to decide, you know what, we don't need to full clear, let's just have people hold. Railgun tries to rotate into the objective, cut down by JJ, but now both he and Forrest die to solo mid holding the long angle trophy. A 3 versus 2 in the favor of all gamers, now just up to Snake. Not even able to find the kill through the vert. Moonlight domes him with the pistol, and that puts all gamers on the board.
Immediately after the attack timeout as well, Harrison. That is exactly what all gamers need for their defensive half. Good composure by them. Again, not overextending on the rotates. They hear the audio from Highway. They see that window opened up, looking into bathroom, seeing the entirety of that back half of Solar and Master. They see all this pressure building up on the Master window or Pell. 2 people directly inside of Office. That's 4 people committed to the top floor, and no one's died yet. That means basically no one can work their way down below to try to get a plant. Yes, JJ does at least spot one player a bit overextended inside a dining room, but you still have the Malusi and solo mid with that Aruni DMR watching from across the first floor to guard the only safe avenue leading into sight, because I believe the Ace had used almost all their Selmas, if not every Selma, upstairs to help clear the extension, which, you know, kind of seems like a bit of an error now, because that composition looks so focused towards going in for a post plant. You know, you had smoke grenades, you had a glass for those long lines of sight, and yes, you had secondary shotguns on Gridlock and Brava, but really no dedicated vert operator. So it seemed like a lot of time was spent upstairs without really any gain by 5 Fears.
Yeah, weird that they used so many Selmas on that Office wall, because you saw towards the end, right? JJ even EMP'd the dining wall like they were going to go, like they were going to try and open it. All gamers go back to Master, where 5 Fears started off with that really impressive rotation after clearing one of the players down below. We'll see where they spawn. It's all library side, so they'll probably go for the library over clear that they had initially wanted to attempt in round number 1 before the rotate. There is no one playing bar for the defense. Everybody's here upstairs, so we should see 5 Fears commit to this.
Now more utility emphasized by all gamers extending into mezzanine, though. We've got Goyo, Vulcan packs burning away a lot of precious time, maybe even dealing damage if someone overextends into them, and the Azami Kivas making MC's position very favorable to take gunfights from library while also avoiding that cutoff angle held by the Office double window. One nade tossed out. Akiba deployed preemptively, maybe to avoid some vert if Snake were to go down below with these Deathmark trackers. That's exactly what he'll be attempting here. So now the Azami can waste even more time and resources and maybe still work a gunfight in their favor.
And Moonlight kills Snake the Deimos down below. Where? Oh, Moonlight probably just descended the blue stairs to kill him and then walked back up to hold his position top blue and prevent anyone from jumping in through Ivy window or walking up the staircase to try and pinch onto MC. 5 Fears, a minute and a half into the round, kind of stuck here. JJ finally just going to jump in the library and try to make something happen along with Fens. There is the Echo in play, though, so JJ's going to have to be careful. One burst, and he'll be exposed to the gun of MC. Trying to isolate this Ella now. JJ drops the hatch, maybe looking to come up the staircase on it, but Railgun in the meantime has killed Rival. And JJ dies to the Ella, who's still on blue stairs. Kills, though, come the way of 5 Fears. Forrest finding 2 in lobby. And just like that, I thought this was going to be a lockout for all gamers, but 5 Fears have brought it back to a 2-on-2.
But the Echo is still alive. He could rotate these Yokais into sight and play for intel late round because there's only 40 seconds left to work with here, Harrison. And I think that's what Solomon is going for. They understand 5 Fears are hitting a reset. They want to look for intel on their own and maybe look to set up together to allow this plant to go down. The Habana's opened up the main breach. That can allow Fens to walk in, secure a plant potentially, and use these Ash charges maybe to get Vert underneath if they don't want to play outside. Instead, they'll use the Ash charge to make a runnable entryway without the use of these Skyrush charges, and now switching positions to go for the plant. But again, because Solo Mid has rotated those Yokais and Ella having 2 Gersmont mines, they could easily stop this plant with only 10 seconds left.
The Yokai, I think, getting shot. The walls being reinforced means this is just going to have to be a run-up in Master. Here's the flank from Moonlight, caught by the Ash. The plant goes down, and 5 Fears are just 1 kill away from being up 3-1 after an immense off-site hold from All Gamers.
And I was just about ready to sing the praises of All Gamers on that extension. They had so much to stop the library push in with the help of that Blackbeard. Yokais for information, Gersmots to slow them down, the Kiva barriers to deny the Deimos from killing the guy Mez without directly confronting him or his teammate of Moonlight, who I believe either, like you said, walked down blue to kill Snake in a 1-for-1 or looking through the hatch into bar, which would have been a crazy angle if that were true. I'm not 100% sure, but regardless, it was on blue. Good comms on that, Harrison. But regardless of that, they were so tunnel visioned on shutting down the Blackbeard, they had no one on cams to check for lobby. Forrest walked up main stairs and killed 2, if not 3 people, and all of a sudden the round's winnable. Yeah. You're in a 2 versus 2, and immediately when 5 Fears go for that plant, they destroy the only Yokai left in that round, and Ella, who had 2 Gersmots in pocket, is the guy flanking and dies because Fens was prepared for it. 5 Fears read them like a book.
And it was so easy to catch him because All Gamers reinforced both of the Ivy walls. So you basically isolate the angles that you can...
He couldn't even play piano to throw the Elamine.
You basically isolate the angles that you can pressure the planter farm for the attacker. A strange play from All Gamers, and it results in another incredible recovery for 5 Fears, and I think we're about to see a rush. Smokes and nades in through the drone hole. In comes Forrest on the Blackbeard. The C4 gets EMP'd by Fens! What a play! Forrest gets the opening pick just to add insult to injury, and it's basically a 5v5 plant from the NA squad. 4 versus 4 as Lion gets picked off, but still the advantage squarely in the hands of 5 Fears. They still have 2 shields left alive. They still have Snake on the glass, who can sit on the long angle. With the location of this case, you cannot long arm this. You have to be exposed to one of the angles on the windows, and so much time has been wasted. John, there was 17 seconds just now on the timer, and we were still in a 4 versus 4. A couple bodies now from All Gamers falls. Everyone from 5 Fears starting to take the fight because they know that the time is too low.
And just like that, 5 Fears, Harrison, 4-1 in the first half. The only resurgence from All Gamers has been the dining room defensive site. They'll probably go here again for the last round of the first half, but this has been such a rough look from All Gamers. They only had one option, one Hail Mary, a C4 from the mirror to stop that plant, and JJ and Co were prepared for it. 5 Fears had the Thatcher in their selection, perfectly shot out to destroy and disable that Nitro cell, allowing for the plant to go down. Because of a lack of echo in that composition from All Gamers, now you've got a post plant. Again, the outside positions we've highlighted in the past are extremely strong for 5 Fears when they're already in a post plant position. 2 shields still up and alive, just way too many bodies for All Gamers to challenge without, you know, risking themselves of either putting someone on that diffuser and having them gunned down, someone running out and giving away their position. And again, 5 Fears just having all their bases covered. We are going to be going back down to dining, as we had mentioned earlier, by All Gamers, extending once again over towards Library, which I don't necessarily hate, but, you know, 5 Fears, they've already won the 4 default attack rounds. Maybe with this composition they have, Harrison, do they just want to go for another rush? I really want to know, are they going to go for more of a solar clear? Look at where they're positioned at right now on Forest and Snake.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe it was going to be a fast play with the Ying and the Dokkaebi and the Raora, but it's all right. JJ to get the first kill from the window repel onto Yaz, one of the most powerful cutoffs in the game. Your Warden is gone. Now these smokes and Ying canisters become so much more powerful. MC kills Rival on Highway from the Ivy window, however. In comes more utility upstairs. Forrest is in the bomb site, and he has no idea that Railgun is wrapping around him. Now the fight being taken against Fens. The shotgun downs the Dokkaebi, and out of nowhere, what seemed like an almost insurmountable advantage for Five Fears. Moving in through top floor. Site control as well has devolved into a 1v3 for Snake thanks to the efforts of Railgun on the bomb site, killing Forrest and Fens. Snake tussling around Split with the shotgun. This is a dangerous fight, but he just hip fires Railgun. First bullet headshot, no ADS required. Case, though, not in hand. It's inside A, inside kitchen. Both MC and Solo Mid must know that thanks to the comms from Railgun. Snake, I don't think is going to be interested in trying to push upstairs. He destroys the bulletproof cam. There might be another one. Yeah, there's two being brought, one from MC, one from Solo Mid, so there is still some site info for all gamers. Snake's drone basically useless because it's right next to a signal-jammed drone hole. And upstairs he goes. Just going to try and look for the fights, maybe bait. Shot sent in, now looking to recover Case. Has to worry about the hatch. He's out of Candelas. So there'll be no more blinds as he attempts to plant in the default corner by Kitchen. Verticality looking to be established by Solo Mid. It's in the wrong spot, but it does take Snake off his plant attempt. Looking for the floor bang, does some damage. Rotates in through B, hoping that there's less information here. There's one more bulletproof that he can deal with. And planting once again in a rather safe corner. You can tell all gamers don't know exactly where it is, but still, Snake is being forced off this plant and so much time being wasted. Now just trying to do it on the doorway, but he could be exposed to that angle from Trophy by MC. Solo Mid once again finds him thanks to the verticality and thanks to the Banshee calling out his position. Now just planting in full view of the hatch. Halfway through, verticality from Solo Mid, though he's not checking the hatch. He lets it go down, and now Snake's got the post plant. He can just watch this hatch, finds the sentry. We're in a 1 versus 1. And all he has to do is wait. MC now downstairs. Worked his way through Split. Gets the wall bang. Whether he knows it or not, Snake is downed and all gamers have a 2-4 half.
A sigh of relief washing over all gamers as they've got plenty of time left on the counter defuse. They'll end the half 2-4. A good look still for Five Fears on their map pick, but there's still a sign of life for the full Chinese team. It'll be the halftime now, eclipsing for Five Fears and all gamers, and the coach perspective for our comms.
We breathe, okay? Take time to go back to some calm.
Fushi, fushi.
Fushi, fushi. Right, so the small amount of runs I saw from them on Chalet is like the heavy traps lineup, okay? Denari, Don, Ella every time.
很重先警卫他们。
So we can ban Denari, Ella, right?
Okay. ban Denari.
Most of the time they extend because of those traps lineup. So we're gonna ban those traps lineup. So we need to be careful if they don't change how they play. You know, like more bunker, like more like close strats, you know, and not extended.
他们本来陷阱流的话都会扩出去的，然后我们现在搬陷阱位的话，小心他们可能会直手点一点，就是靠点边多一点。
So again, focus on the prep phase. Okay, we focus on the prep phase, see what kind of setup they are. If they extend, we can go soul. If they bunker more, we can go just for library. Okay.
Don't
let a DMR shred you, right? Like on the mud rappel, K9 window, like shit like that, guys. Like, do not give these guys exterior kills.
Make them work for everything they gotta get, but let's also like press the. I think at the end of the day here, just like.
Hold on. Wasn't the Snake walking us down too? Also, I might change the ban set of glass like to.
No, they will run. No, trust me. They will run the Ying and the Glass and fucking run our shit with it. Take out the Monty Glass box, and then third ban you can snake it.
It wasn't really doing
the
that
Monty
much.
was the biggest issue last map. All right,
Okay.
trust me on that. Trust me on that.
We got this, guys. Just breathe, right? We got this. This is our game. We're getting
I might fuck around and throw it and lose to China for fun. I mean, Riley wants to fucking hand the win right now,
take
bro.
Me home, dude. Take me home, bro.
I mean, if they want to go home, I'd keep a full head of hair, so.
Oh my god.
Would I be totally upset? Not so much.
Denari, Ella likely going to be the bans for all gamers, as they discussed in the timeout. Same thing with Monty Glaz. I do agree with JJ that Monty was a massive issue for them last map. And Phenomene is also right. Denari and Ella, very often played by all gamers to allow for those extensions. Those tripwires are super, super hard to deal with Chalet because it's such like a window-heavy map as well. So I like the bans for both teams. Master is also going to be the first site for 5 Fears too. As you see Snake, I thought he was going to win that, but I think that little opening is what killed him. Like that little opening in the plant wall. So we'll see 5 Fears defend top floor. Bit of a different lineup than what we saw all gamers bringing. No, obviously no Ella to be played. No, they also don't have Zami, they don't have Omai, they don't have Mirek, or sorry, they do have Mirek, they don't have Castle, they don't have Fenrir. They're leaning more into stuff like the Warden, just in case there's a Ying play or some kind of smoke plant, which it looks like all gamers are going for. I'm also excited to see Rival. He's 1-5 right now, but he's getting let loose. He's off the leash.
On the Vigil Boss G. Maybe seeing some potential spawn peaks or just, again, one-shot ACOG shotgun here, dealing tons of damage if someone just is caught off guard. Maybe even able to lurk up blue, perhaps, if it's a library over clear. Not too sure how all gamers want to approach this, but very heavy emphasis on wanting to get this plant down. Looks to be a solar overtake. Getting Blackbeard in the building off the back of these Sens RU projectors, the Capital bolts, and Ying Candelas. JJ is on the Warden. They talked about that during the intermission, Harrison, that Ying would be played almost entirely by all gamers if they choose not to ban it over the Montaigne. This could be the moment for JJ to work some sort of pick with that Nitro Cell once he hears the Candelas and utility fly in from this back window of solar, giving the right time for a call to be made as a rotation. Oh, that does remind me. Rival is in the basement. All gamers are worried about a potential run out. They've got claymores for it as well, but they're also guarding it just in case Rival decides to impact open this barricade and try to go for something cheeky on the master window player.
He thinks better of it, at least for now. All gamers spotting that there's not a ton of stuff dedicated to holding solar. It could be a pretty easy take here. I think their main obstacle might be a Mira window if there's one placed facing that direction. There's the run out from Rival looking for someone on the double window, but Railgun was still wary of Trench. So run out does not find any picks. You can see JJ hears this guy on the rappel, wants to pick him off of it and surprise this Ying. First pick though, Forrest falls to Yaz on the DMR. I'm not sure, Yaz on the rappel, way outside on slant.
I don't think they know about JJ Harrison. Could maybe jump over that bed, have the high ground against this Blackbeard shield while planting, and maybe kill him outright. He is low on HP. But again, you need help from your teammates. You need some sort of distraction, and right now, all gamers are still continuing to add more pressure on this execute, but a massive kill to find. That's the cut player, allowing for the rest of 5 Fears to rotate and assist JJ behind this bomb chassis.
The nade not able to flush him out either, but one of his teammates has been down. Rival good for 2 kills, though, on the Vigil. 2 versus 2 with friends on the ground. Moonlight and Yaz looking for a way in. Yaz still outside on highway, holding the cut, but Snake and JJ, neither of them exposing themselves. JJ starting to rotate through, gives his life up to Moonlight, and that leaves Snake in yet another clutch. Wasn't able to get it done the round prior. Can he do it here? Plant going down, Yaz covering. He spots the barrel, goes for the fight, wins it, turns around for the second, but Moonlight is better, and all gamers able to recover their first attack.
And after a quiet performance by Moonlight in the first half, when it matters most, wins the first fight against JJ, cutting off his rotate and securing the last frag, trading his teammate after getting off the defuse, narrowly out-dueling Snake and denying the clutch. A crucial round defined for all gamers after so many things went wrong for them on that execute, even downing Rival as well there, getting the triple kill. Impressive job by Moonlight. Now going back from 3-5 to positive at the beginning of this second half. You lose your Ying early, and the Candelas themselves not creating a lot of space. The Capitao and Blackbeard being annihilated by Rival's SMG-12 as he rotates off the roam. Everything looks dire as 3 nades were thrown at JJ after he killed the Ying, and he also didn't die. Everything looked top-notch for Five Fears, but again, the heroics of Moonlight were just enough to get them over that finish line and bring us 1 round to a potential tied game between Five Fears versus All Gamers. Despite their loss, 7-8 on Layer, they are still alive and kicking to keep things close on Chalet.
Sen's being brought again. I imagine with Warden still being up, All Gamers are going to be looking a lot towards that Sens. Five Fears talked about maybe banning the Snake in the second half. All Gamers haven't played him just yet. Maybe relying so much on the Sens, as this is an absurd run out. Okay, he doesn't find anything. Maybe playing the Sens and relying on it so much could bait Five Fears into banning them. And then the Snake comes out in the second half. We'll have to see.
Still a heavy roam emphasis as well by Five Fears. Interested in seeing Forest actually, roaming, not just the extension of above, that's very common for dining, but also playing closer towards Fireplace and Mez. But JJ, I think one of the only players close to site, ends up dying by the hands of Railgun there. A good entry to find for All Gamers. The lurk from downstairs by MC detects Rival near Blue Hall, and he expects another to assist from Snowmobile Stairs, but loses to fight the Forest. That's huge for Five Fears. Rival still alive, able to utilize that Solar Scanner in case the plant were to go down. And these horizontal angles are so favorable for the DMR, but Forest is low. And he'll have to pick these gunfights wisely if he starts to get pushed by All Gamers.
Yeah, All Gamers starting to confirm and push forward their control of Trophy, as well as West Main. The Sense now inside Kitchen, going for this plant. The cover from his team is good. It's keeping the defense at bay. Maybe they didn't even know that the plant was going down. Yaz finishes it, and now All Gamers can start to back off. Yaz with the pick on the Snake. Shuts down the Fenrir. From below, Rival looking for a run out. Can't find the player on the rappel because he had to take the time to shoot the Claymore. Repelling inwards, though, is Railgun. Fens finds him. 2 versus 3 with a player, with one attacker upstairs on that double window rappel. He's since come down and now posted up on Trophy window in order to support Yaz inside. Trophy and Moonlight playing in West Main cleans up the round. All Gamers have tied us up 4 apiece.
What a gap spotted from All Gamers as well, Harrison. Wasting 0 time, getting pressure in through Trophy. They win that first gunfight onto JJ, and after some drone work, they realize no one's on site. They have the perfect operator to cut off all these long lines of sight that Forrest was trying to use, that the players upstairs on the roam were trying to use to play for Vert against, this post-plant potential. They have Sens. And without the info, either from a lack of an audio call or just no other cameras in sight being blocked by the ROU projectors, All Gamers get a plant down essentially for free in that 4 versus 4. The rest of Five Fears disjointed on total opposite sides of the map. Again, Forrest was completely alone trying to come back into sight from Fireplace. You had Snakes or Rival still downstairs on the Solas attempting to run out. Fens was the only one doing any damage, but he was also very far away from sight trying to walk down Solar Stairs, but there's a cutoff from the Trophy window, which is where all the chaos initially started from by All Gamers. I think they just had better info and a quicker response time to when they realized the site was free, and they had the perfect tools to keep Five Fears out of the objective and into a safe position for themselves to get a plant down.
Five Fears now for the first time rocking Clash on Chalet for this Bar Games defense. Forrest we will likely see holding top blue with that Clash shield. Still some traps around for JJ on the Thorn, though I'm sure Five Fears are probably sorely missing the Denari that they play so often on this map. All Gamers on the other side, sure they don't have the Monty available, but they do have Blackbeard, which they also ran pretty consistently here on Lair. They're working for a complete opposite side over push because there is no roam presence from Five Fears. The closest person is Snake behind this reinforcement on Office.
Wait to see if everyone hops up that ladder. Or here's some sort of cue. Maybe a rotate could happen as well from Office, since Blackbeard's already pushed up deep past Piano. Spots the, I believe it, yeah, spots out the Dokkaebi opening up this back barricade and tries to go for an aggressive swing, but isn't met by anyone besides a drone, and now just backs away, not willing to risk his life for free from that balcony. A lot of map control gained early for all gamers. Again, a lot of emphasis on utility to clear out power positions. They've got gridlock tracks, air jabs, which could now be used as a tool to deter the clash, because they already have flank watch off of this gridlock. No pocket EMPs, but plenty of frag grenades as well to assist for the clash here and to burn both the my magnets and ADS in play here for 5 Fears. It'll just be a game of cat and mouse until all this utility is finally cleared away.
The ROUs being set up, they want to isolate Forest from Rival, take away that connection, and go for a kill on one of them. There's the ROUs being activated. In comes the push from all gamers. MC inside Ivy, though, almost dealt with. Railgun killed by Snake now. This push so far only good for a kill as Moonlight cleans up Rival. Fen still playing by Pot, kills Moonlight. And we're even at 3 apiece. After this initial scuffle on the top floor concludes, the most important thing, though, Fens still has Library, and Forrest is still here on blue, but he doesn't have the time to put down the shield. MC looking to run up on him, but Forrest able to walk back. JJ dies on the bomb site. Upstairs, the fight being taken by DMR. Fens wins the first engagement, looks for the second, dies to solo mid, and now Forrest finds himself alone as All Gamers' trade game upstairs was so good. Can't quite land the shots on Yaz.
The Razor Bloom!
Solo mid downed to a thorn trap, and now it's just Yaz armed with the shotgun, and he can't land enough pellets. 5 Fears off of the back of Forest retake their lead.
Forrest hitting the deck, and it works out against the Gridlock Super Shorty. Not enough pellets landed. The pre-fire, it took a few attempts, but it's finally successful for him. 5 Fears take back the lead after a nail-biting Razor Bloom finishes off the already weakened Nomad from the upstairs confrontation against Fens, making it an official 1v1, and they instantly ban her. They're like, we are not letting this happen again, guys. And the Sens being banned as well for 5 Fears, which I think is a perfect counter. Yes, we've seen Ying played almost every single round, but the real catalyst for getting space into sight and securing these post-plant positions that, mind you, all gamers had a flawless plant conversion back on their map pick of Lair and have been near flawless here on Chalet already as well. The big catalyst operator was those Sens ROUs to make enough space to get into sight and have the diffuser on the ground. The Warden's been enough plenty to counteract this Ying, so I think that was a wise decision made by 5 Fears going in around 10.
I like that All Gamers, too, have had 5 Fears ban the Sens now because they played it so often. I thought maybe we were going to see the Snake start being played, because, again, 5 Fears talked about how good All Gamers were with that Snake as well as the Monty. But instead, Solomid swaps onto the Nomad, so no solid Snake just yet. 5 Fears go to Kitchen Dining. Again, this site was won thanks to All Gamers having really early trophy control and then converting that into a plant, holding onto West Main and forcing 5 Fears to try and retake into the crossfire. See how 5 Fears end up holding onto the top floor this time. We've got 3 players up here. Once again, Forrest in the basement. JJ, the only player on site. He did die early on that round 8 execute. He was the first pick, and he was the only anchor, which is what helped open things up for All Gamers. Hopefully for 5 Fears, their IGL is going to have a little bit more survivability this time, although they also have Forrest working in tandem with him.
Yeah, they've got 5 Fears playing a lot closer to the chest. There is still an extension up above. The Force playing from West Main could obviously threaten a potential run out through Trench, or at least just play close to sight to slow down anyone pushing in from Trophy, which was the main push from All Gamers last time they attacked this objective. Again, no sense in plays. He's been banned, meaning that the only use for smokes here is by MC, and the smoke grenades here from Railgun as well, which can be countered from a Warden picked out by Fens, and the entry as well favoring 5 Fears. JJ getting rid of Railgun, damage dealt onto Snake, but he still lives to fight another day. Still Kiva's in his back pocket to allow for a rotation, but JJ overstaying his welcome, is now injured, tying us up into 4 versus 4, and All Gamers putting every bit of utility onto hunting down Rival.
Forrest dies on the trophy stairs as MC swings in. Rival, though, trades it back onto Moonlight, as the top floor is still firmly in the hands of Five Fears, the 3 last remaining players all upstairs. Diffuser has been dropped by All Gamers. I believe it's inside trophy with JJ. Or is it, I can't tell, is that upstairs? I think that's upstairs in Solar. I think maybe Moonlight dropped it. It is upstairs. Okay, so even worse for all. I thought maybe it was like, okay, it's downstairs in Trophy. If they can force the guys back from Solar Vert, maybe they can recover it. Oh, Macy, actually, MC just walks up to the doorway and is able to grab it. JJ finally does bleed out as MC looks for an angle into the bomb site. Yaz is going to go up to Solar. They leave Solo mid on the cutoff highway. MC now in Trophy. Yaz actually swings in and doesn't get punished for it. Maybe Five Fears, they get afraid of this player on the double window cut. MC dumps his utility in. There's a player upstairs who nearly sees him through the hatch, but now he's full blind. But luckily, there's a Warden in play for Five Fears. Sees the Capitao through the smoke, shuts down the plant attempt, and now there's basically no time for All Gamers to do anything. In an act of desperation, Solo Mid swings in, but he and Yaz are swiftly dealt with.
And the immediate target ban on Sens paying dividends for the round by Five Fears. They didn't have as an effective of a response. It took more time and emphasis to clear out Trophy Room, to deal with the blue staircase, which is where Forrest was playing, rather than Rival. JJ wins that first entry kill on, not to Moonlight, I believe, because they still had the Grim canisters, but winning an entry kill nonetheless. Forrest then rotates from west, heading in to that blue staircase by Solar, wasting a lot more resources by All Gamers and also burning their time. They had less moments to gather info, to have more resources besides the Capitao to allow for that plant to go down. And it never felt like they were allowed to also apply pressure on the rest of that roam extension upstairs. Rival basically never contested. The rest of his teammates upstairs never contested besides a rogue flash, but they didn't have to ever push past the player on that master window cutoff, so they were safe and sound. And we're now on series point. Five Fears are 1 round away from having a rematch against their NA rivals wild card, or All Gamers, potentially a few more rounds to at least score overtime and have a second chance on bank if they can win in that 15-round position. But it's not looking good. Oh no!
Jinx, you've lost your Thatcher up against this Cade. That is a devastating loss. I mean, at least you have your Fuse, so maybe you can get into lobby and start to send cluster charges down. Also, on round 11, All Gamers 1 round from elimination. They bring the Osa. Jesse J. Chick, I hope you're watching. This is your favorite operator. We'll see if it works out for All Gamers here, but they've lost their Thatcher. Where do they go from here? There's a run out, I think, upstairs as Five Fears are exuding their presence all across the map. They have a full 3-tiered roam that All Gamers, at least for right now, are not contesting. Just as I say that, oh, Snake almost takes a fight with Yaz. The dangerous thing here for All Gamers is if they don't clear this out, Snake is going to be able to just play upstairs with the Solus.
They also have no real response to the Cade Claws besides Fuse, maybe, or a well-placed frag grenade by MC. It's going to make getting into the bomb site very challenging to utilize those Osa Talon shields as cutoff angles for the longer positions held from Connector all the way down by Big Garage, or at least getting someone in the building safely. Wow. There comes Benz, a well-needed kill, and out to 5 versus 3, and again, this Osa shield not doing anything to protect All Gamers.
Solo mid with 1. The flank, though, for Rival. Good for a kill onto the shield player. Very quickly traded back, but Snake has a double up, and Solo mid, the last player standing between All Gamers and defeat, and it's JJ Blastful, who says ni hao and zaijian to All Gamers. Xie xie for the win, and they've got a date against Wildcard tomorrow.
They started out rough here at Salt Lake City Harrison, going 0-2 in the Swiss stage, but in the lower bracket, they have one more shot, one more opportunity to make it to the main stage for the first time as a brand new team in North America. going flawless in playoffs, and one more match against Wildcard tomorrow that I cannot wait to see. But before we've got the interview ready for JJ, we'll hop in a quick break to set that up. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in a couple minutes.